Through the heavy rain, a line of black cars speeds down the wet road. Suddenly, the tires screech to a halt as the angry boss asks why they stopped. Pointing ahead, the nervous driver tells his leader that he needs to see this. Blocking their path, a lone young man stands defiantly in the middle of the road. Grabbing his subordinate, the shocked boss orders everyone to get out immediately. With a fierce look, the kid shouts that they will never step into his village. Stepping onto the wet ground, several guards exit the vehicles with umbrellas. Approaching him, they mock the boy and ask if he wants to get hurt again. Walking forward, the furious boss threatens to turn the teenager into a cripple. Looking directly at the boss, the boy tells him to shut up since he only hides in the back. This insult completely triggers the leader and a vein pops on his forehead from pure rage. Laughing it off, the boss claims that nowadays brain power is way superior to just using muscles. He then orders his giant bodyguard named Kang to immediately finish off the annoying teenager. With a creepy smile, the massive fighter steps forward while holding his black umbrella. Getting ready to defend himself, the protagonist instantly raises his fists into a basic boxing stance. Despite his brave pose, the boy internally wonders if he actually has any chance of winning this fight. He remembers his brutal defeat from just 1 week ago when this same opponent easily destroyed him. Noticing the trembling hands, the bodyguard mocks the kid for showing so much fear. Dropping his umbrella onto the wet ground, the thug lunges forward to start the attack first. A massive fist flies directly toward the boy, who freezes up as the strike gets closer. In this critical moment, he remembers the advice of his teacher about using the left hand to measure distance. The mentor explained that once the opponent is close enough, he must put all his weight into the punch. The teacher demonstrates throwing a straight right punch directly to finish the basic combination. This is the classic 1-2 combination, which is known as the absolute core of boxing. Back in the present time, the young hero successfully lands his fist right on the opponent's face. Rage takes over the bodyguard as the teenager immediately follows up with another powerful hit. A heavy blow strikes the giant's stomach and forces the massive bully to step backward. Growling with anger, the massive thug swings his giant fist back to retaliate. Looking at the incoming danger, the protagonist remains incredibly focused to dodge the strike. He remembers his mentor warning him that the opponent is in a much higher weight class. The trainer explained that a heavier fighter without boxing skills will always swing a wild right. During their practice, the young boy tried to mimic the attack, but his acting was super terrible. The coach explains that he must dodge the incoming attack by slipping lightly to his left side. With a devious smile, the mentor advises the boy to target the opponent's left side during the counter. He explains that striking this area, targeting the liver, will completely paralyze the enemy and stop his breathing. The teacher ordered him to practice this exact sequence thousands of times until it became a natural reaction. Back in the real fight, the young boxer easily dodges the giant attack and prepares his final counter. Applying the training, he releases a massive punch directly into the bodyguard's vulnerable liver. Pain immediately overcomes the giant thug as he clutches his side and struggles to breathe. Seizing this chance, the teenager unleashes a beautiful combination of rapid punches on his opponent. Gathering all his strength, he throws one final right hook directly into the bully face. The massive bodyguard loses his balance and falls backward onto the wet ground. The massive bodyguard groans in deep pain as his body finally gives out completely. Stunned by the result, the young boy looks down at his own trembling hands. A huge smile appears on his face when he realizes that his hard training actually worked. The fallen giant barely stays conscious while weakly telling his boss to destroy the kid. Hearing this, the angry leader screams at the top of his lungs for his men to attack. Looking at the huge group of enemies, the teenager wonders how he can possibly beat all of them. He recalls his mentor explaining that defeating the strongest fighter always scares the rest away. However, the nervous kid realizes that this classic rule is not going to work today. Several angry guards sprint forward at the same time to crush the young hero. To understand how this wild fight started, we must go back exactly 1 week in time. Walking through the dark forest, a pair of cheap orange shoes steps onto the dirt path. Placing his hands on his hips, the protagonist smiles proudly after finishing his secret project. He successfully built his very own outdoor gym by hanging heavy bags from the tree branches. Pulling on some tight red gloves, he prepares to begin his intense training session. Raising his fists into a proper stance, the young boxer focuses completely on his target. Looking back, the boy remembers his quiet life before all this crazy trouble started. His story takes place in a peaceful countryside town where everyone knows each other very well. After losing his parents in a tragic accident, he moved here to live with his loving grandmother. Everything felt completely new and scary to the small child who could not stop crying. To make him feel better, the funny local elders did silly dances and made hilarious faces. This endless warmth from the sweet neighbors instantly filled his sad heart with pure joy. One evening, the old folks gathered inside the small community center for a very serious meeting. The leader explains that they need to discuss a highly crucial matter regarding their beloved town. One lady points out that their budget is extremely low and suggests lowering their expectations. Another woman completely disagrees because she wants to make this upcoming event the absolute best. She even suggests giving up their monthly snack budget to save enough money for the special plan. All the passionate elders shout in agreement and happily promise to live without their favorite treats. Looking back to his childhood, the protagonist remembers getting a brand new blue backpack. The sweet grandparents smile warmly as they present him with this special gift, bought with their savings. Every single school item they bought had his name carefully stitched onto it with pure love. Keeping these precious items in his school desk always reminded the boy of his family support. Even to this day, the young man keeps those old memories safe in his heart to motivate himself. His ultimate dream is to become a world champion boxer and build a wonderful life for his village. Stepping firmly onto the dirt ground, he starts his intense daily training routine. The determined teenager throws lightning-fast punches into the air to sharpen his boxing skills. His heavy homemade punching bags swing back and forth under the force of his relentless strikes. Keeping his eyes locked on his imaginary target, he throws another incredibly fast punch. A powerful right hook lands directly on the bag and produces a loud echoing impact in the forest. To build up his muscles, he holds heavy water bottles and does countless sit-ups on the grass. Sweat drips down his face while he encourages himself to never give up on his grand ambition. He remains absolutely sure that a real opportunity to enter the professional ring will arrive soon. Late at night inside their quiet home, his sleeping grandmother rests while a news reporter speaks on the screen. Waking up in the middle of the night, the elderly woman notices that her grandson is gone again. On the television screen, a news reporter announces some major business expansion plans in the area. Turning off the screen, the story transitions to a gray and cloudy morning in the countryside. Working hard in the muddy fields, some local farmers discuss rumors about a corrupt construction company. One elder explains that this greedy business completely ruined a peaceful neighboring town. Suddenly, a loud sound interrupts their chat as a black vehicle approaches them at full speed. Without slowing down, the massive tire instantly crushes a delicate flower on the side of the road. Several expensive black cars pull up in a line and a mysterious man steps out onto the wet dirt. An elegant man wearing glasses arrives with some tough bodyguards behind him. The group walks right up to the local community center where the elders are waiting. With a fake smile, the dressed man welcomes the elders and apologizes for taking their time. Watching the scene, the young hero wonders why all the seniors gathered here today. The visitor introduces himself as Kang Hon, the head director of a major construction company. Without wasting any more time, he holds up a contract to buy their entire village land. He offers 300,000 won per unit and says they cannot miss this great chance. An angry old man steps forward and calls the greedy director a complete thug for lowballing them. The village chief shouts that this offer is a total scam and they will never sell their home. Pointing his finger at the businessman, the brave elder tells the corrupt group to get lost. The director tries to raise the price, but the old chief grabs his arm to push him away. Losing his polite act, the angry executive growls because the senior dared to touch his clothes. The arrogant businessman gets furious that a dirty farmer dared to touch his expensive clothes. With a cold expression, he commands his tough bodyguard to teach the senior a lesson. Stepping forward, the red-haired fighter grabs the village chief and violently throws him down onto the hard floor. Seeing the old man fall, the young boxer rushes over immediately to check if the poor elder is okay. Suddenly, the protagonist's sweet grandmother steps up and starts yelling at the thugs for causing trouble. Getting extremely annoyed by her complaints, the rude bodyguard raises his hand to silence the elderly woman. Without any hesitation, the brute swings his hand and brutally strikes the poor grandmother to the ground. The young boy watches this happen in complete shock as his eyes widen with disbelief and growing anger. Seeing the elderly woman unconscious on the floor, the red-haired thug wonders if he went too far this time. He quickly tries to justify his violent action by claiming she deserved it for talking back to him. Sudden fury explodes as a massive punch flies straight into the red-haired bodyguard face. Losing all his balance, the giant thug crashes heavily onto the cold stone floor below. The fallen bully groans in total confusion while trying to understand who just hit him. Standing over his enemy, the enraged teenager prepares to unleash his absolute fury. His eyes widen with pure rage as he loudly demands to know what they did to his sweet grandmother. Without waiting for a response, the young boxer delivers another devastating strike to the thug face. Watching his bodyguard get easily defeated, the corrupt director sighs in deep disappointment. Suddenly, another pair of polished black shoes steps forward onto the dirty path. The boss commands his strongest fighter named Kang to step in and handle this country kid. Raising his fists into a firm stance, the young hero prepares to face this new threat. He fiercely demands that the bad guys apologize to his family and leave their home immediately. Instead of showing any respect, the bald bodyguard just bursts into loud, arrogant laughter. His expression instantly turns cold as he prepares to completely crush the brave teenager. Throwing a wild punch, the giant thug jokes that this fight will count as self-defense. Moving with incredible speed, the focused protagonist easily ducks under the massive swinging arm. Slipping under the giant swing, the young boxer moves like a shadow to find an opening. He quickly delivers a direct blow to the arrogant thug face to end the fight. Feeling confident about his quick move, the boy thinks he just landed a perfect counter. However, the giant brute simply grins because the strike did not even make him blink. Suddenly, the teenager falls to the ground while struggling to catch his breath after a heavy blow. Before the boy can recover, a massive kick hits him directly in the face and sends him flying. He crashes heavily onto the concrete floor while the smug opponent stands tall over him. Bleeding from his nose, the protagonist continues to glare angrily at his opponent. Getting annoyed by his tough look, the main leader commands all his guards to completely destroy the kid. The angry group immediately surrounds the fallen hero and begins to kick him without showing any mercy. The local elders can only scream in horror while the bad guys hold them back. Blood slowly drips onto the cold stone ground as the young boxer struggles to stand. The smug bodyguards laugh and mock him because this is not a normal playground fight. Seeing her grandson in pain, the poor grandmother begs the thugs to stop hurting him. With tears flowing down her bruised face, she asks the bad guys to hit her instead. The corrupt director sighs and tells her it would be easier if she just signed the papers. A bodyguard quickly opens an umbrella while the boss complains about his expensive shoes. He decides to call off the beating for today and tells everyone to stay quiet next time. The evil businessman warns them not to call the police because he can buy off anyone. He smiles and mentions they have edited video footage that makes the boy look like the villain, giving them 1 week to think he gets into his luxury car and leaves the dirty village. As the rain falls, the worried grandmother tries to help her injured grandson up. Suddenly, she holds her head in terrible pain, and the young boy screams out for her. Hearing the local grandfather shouting, the boy quickly carries his injured grandmother on his back through the rain. Inside the quiet house, the kind doctor reveals that she luckily did not suffer any major brain injuries from the fall. The worried teenager can only stare in silence, while his sweet grandmother rests on the bed with a bandage on her head. When the elder tells the boy that he also needs medical care, we see that his neck and face are covered in bad bruises. Forcing a reassuring smile, the brave young man says he is completely fine and asks the old doctor to look after her. Walking out into the pouring rain, the determined teenager heads back to his secret forest training spot to face his anger. With tears of frustration mixing with the cold rain, he unleashes his absolute rage by hitting the heavy bag over and over. His knuckles are covered in deep bruises and blood after hitting the makeshift bag so many times. Standing alone in the pouring rain, he feels completely hopeless and weak against those powerful city thugs. Tears mix with the falling water as the boy screams out of pure frustration because he could not protect his family. Through the loud storm, a silent stranger suddenly appears and watches the teenager from behind a large tree. Turning around in shock, the exhausted boy spots a mysterious tall man with long dark hair staring right at him. Wiping the sweat from his face, the young boxer wonders who this random visitor could be. The muscular visitor looks back with a calm and serious expression under the heavy rain. We see a memory from a sunny day when the boy was inside his house watching a hot sports news broadcast. The television screen showed a famous boxing superstar named Seo Jun landing a perfect left hook on his opponent. This legendary champion managed to defend his solid title with flawless skill and absolute dominance in the ring. In a flashback, the champion explained that he wanted to find a quiet place to train alone before his next match. Standing under the heavy rain, the professional athlete realizes that the young boy has recognized his famous face. The exhausted teenager stares in absolute shock and wonders if he is just having a crazy dream in the middle of the woods. The muscle-bound visitor assures him that this is real life and explains he is just looking for a good spot to camp. When the kid asks if there is even a good place to practice here, the champion mentions that top athletes love quiet zones. His expression turns serious as he warns the teenager that a true boxer should never let crazy emotions run his punches. Pointing down at the bloody knuckles, the professional tells the kid that protecting his hands is the most important rule. Feeling desperate, the young boy begins to explain everything about the corrupt thugs who hurt his beloved grandmother. Hearing about the terrible crime, the champion gets furious and throws a wild punch that completely destroys the sandbag. Clearing his throat awkwardly, the giant athlete apologizes because his fist moved on its own due to sudden anger. The teenager waves it off but silently laughs because the champion just did exactly what he told him not to do. Finding the spot quite interesting, the powerful man decides to pitch his tent right there for the night. Seizing this amazing opportunity, the hopeful kid eagerly asks if the superstar can evaluate his boxing skills. The champion laughs and asks if the kid really expects a free lesson from a top professional athlete. While bragging about being a national hero, his stomach suddenly lets out a massive growl and he asks for some rice. Under the cloudy sky, the champion quickly devours a homemade rice ball and gets amazed by the incredible local taste. The sad teenager notices how hungry the man is and willingly hands over the rest of his lunch. Feeling thankful for the delicious meal, the boxer decides to watch the kid perform a simple combination. Stepping forward into a firm stance, the young hero takes a deep breath to calm his racing heart. He instantly throws a rapid 1-2 hook combination with surprising speed and focus. Turning around with a hopeful smile, the boy eagerly wonders what the professional thinks of his moves. Crossing his arms, the champion bluntly tells the kid that his form is completely terrible and pathetic. He points out how the boy leaves his chin exposed and keeps his guard way too high for no reason. Turning his back, the top athlete says the teenager has zero talent and should just give up on boxing. Desperate to learn, the passionate boy begs the champion to teach him at least a little bit more. The professional immediately refuses because he came to this quiet forest to focus on his own training. Seeing the teenager look so deeply sad and dejected, the champion lets out a heavy sigh of defeat. He suddenly tells the boy to follow along if he can actually keep up with his brutal routine. Overjoyed by this sudden chance, the grateful student shouts his thanks across the beautiful green valley. They start their intense training by running fast because having great stamina is the most basic rule. Moving on to the next exercise, they jump rope for 5 long rounds to build up their footwork and flow. Finally, they finish the hard day by doing 7 rounds of intense shadowboxing to master their speed. Moving on to the next phase, the champion decides to start his mental image training against an aggressive infighter. He closes his eyes and tells the young boy to imagine facing a legendary beast named Mike Tyson. In this intense mental battle, the scary gaze of the champion boxer instantly locks onto his target. Moving like a total ghost, the professional easily ducks under a massive swing in his head. The imaginary opponent immediately counters by throwing another heavy fist with terrifying power. Staring closely, the elite fighter realizes that this legendary monster will never take a single step backward. He decides to use fast jabs to keep the beast at a distance while looking for a quick exit. However, the giant boxer uses a crazy peekaboo style to slip past all the incoming attacks. The massive shadow closes the distance with lightning speed and corners the champion. Realizing that running away is no longer an option, the elite athlete prepares to face the pressure head-on. He quickly throws a direct punch and slips to the side to avoid a devastating counterblow. Suddenly, the young student interrupts his thoughts by asking if he is fighting an aggressive infighter right now. The professional boxer stops instantly and turns around with a look of pure disbelief on his face. The boy explains how the movement looked like defense against a heavy hitter like Mike Tyson. He is completely stunned because the young kid understood his entire strategy just by watching him shadowbox. The champion wonders if the young boy simply got lucky or actually possesses an amazing eye for boxing. Looking at his student training, the famous athlete realizes that he is starting to like the kid quite a bit. They quickly move on to the next hard step by hitting the makeshift sandbags for 7 intense rounds. Things get even tougher as they start trading heavy body shots to build up their core defense. Next, they do a set of painful pull-ups on a tree branch while the master tells him to keep going. Keeping up the wild pace, they immediately drop to the dirty ground to do a massive amount of push-ups. After that, they train their forearms by rolling up a heavy water bottle tied to a thick wooden stick. Hanging from a tree branch, they lift their legs over and over to build incredible core strength. The relentless routine continues with sit-ups and throwing heavy rocks until the exhausted kid throws up. Staring at his struggling student, the professional athlete wonders if the teenager has finally reached his absolute limit. He is actually very impressed because he used his normal routine hoping the kid would quit, but he kept going. The champion remembers how other people always run away once they see how brutal his daily routine actually is. Staring at the heavily panting teenager, the mentor waits in silence to see how the young boy will react now. Sweating on the muddy ground, the boy admits he cannot easily match the training intensity of a world champion. Even though he is far from being a real fighter, he is determined to work hard every single day to seize his chance. Looking down at the exhausted kid, the professional athlete is completely shocked by his incredible spirit. The champion wonders if the boy is actually crazy since he just finished a brutal routine meant for professionals. Seeing such intense determination in the young kid's eyes, the master realizes that he genuinely likes his new student. When the champion tells him to stand up, the tired teenager instantly jumps back to his feet with absolute energy. The mentor explains that his busy professional career makes it impossible for him to stay in Korea for very long. However, he gives a confident smile and promises to train the boy as much as possible during his short stay here. Hearing those wonderful words, the young student gets incredibly excited and stares with stars in his eyes. The happy kid starts jumping around to celebrate while the superstar watches him with his arms crossed. Suddenly, the mood turns serious as the champion asks about the dangerous thugs who promise to return in 1 week. He tells the kid that a real man must resolve his issues properly before his mentor eventually leaves the area. Exactly 1 week later, the heavy rain continues to fall over the quiet mountains as the promised day finally arrives. In a flash of pure speed, the young hero unleashes a perfect punch straight into the face of a surprised thug. Feeling the immense power of the strike, the bald thug falls backward onto the wet dirt while groaning in pain. Shocked by his own sudden power, the young hero realizes that the intense lessons of his master actually worked. Lying uselessly on the muddy ground, the defeated brawler slowly mumbles some angry words to his nearby allies. Suddenly, the fallen thug screams at the top of his lungs, telling his friends to completely crush the young kid. Hearing the angry shout, 2 suits instantly charge down the rainy road to jump the lone teenager together. Slipping underneath a massive swinging fist, the focused boy instantly spots a perfect opening to strike back. Using his incredible speed, the teenager unleashes a powerful counterpunch straight into the face of his attacker. Glaring with a wicked grin, the red-haired leader gets furious while the boy quickly slides away to create some space. Suddenly, a loud scream echoes through the heavy rain, causing the young student to widen his eyes in pure shock. 2 angry suits charge forward together, trying to overwhelm the young boy with their raw size and power. A heavy fist suddenly clips his cheek as he struggles to dodge the coordinated assault in the pouring rain. Losing his balance, the teenager crashes hard onto the slippery, wet ground while the enemies look down at him. The brutal attackers shout happily and rush in to completely crush the fallen student before he can recover. Gritting his teeth in deep frustration, the beaten boy desperately wonders how he can survive this crazy situation. More thugs sprint down the dark road to join the massive pileup while the rain continues to pour heavily. Looking at the incoming crowd, the hopeless kid fears that he might fail to protect his family once again. Suddenly, a calm and familiar voice cuts through the noisy storm as someone looks at the chaotic scene. Standing tall with a black umbrella, the superstar mentor casually looks down at his bruised and beaten student. He pulls out his smartphone to record the dynamic fight while joking about getting some amazing footage. Glaring through his glasses, the angry leader of the gang demands to know who this random intruder is. With a confident smirk, the powerful champion asks the thugs if they are simply too busy to watch television. Slowly lowering his items, the master tells his student to carefully hold his umbrella and phone for a second. Staring in complete shock, the suited leader suddenly feels a cold sweat run down his face as he recognizes him. The famous boxer Seo Jun smiles because even some low-level criminals instantly know his legendary name. Looking up from the wet ground, the bruised student asks what his master is planning to do now. The angry leader demands the video deletion and orders his men to take the smartphone by force. Refusing to hand it over, the champion smiles while the gang prepares to attack him. The local brawlers quickly step forward to surround the famous athlete in the heavy rain. Clenching his wrapped fist, the champion mockingly asks if he should be scared of mere street fighters. The master tells his student to watch closely because protecting precious things requires real strength. Charging forward with loud screams, the angry thugs try to overpower the superstar champion together. Dodging with absolute ease, the professional boxer ducks underneath a massive incoming swing. He launches a lightning-fast counterpunch but stops his fist mere millimeters away from the target face. Flashily declaring a knockout, the smiling mentor leaves his opponent completely frozen in pure terror. Furious at being mocked, one angry suit charges forward while the champion easily slips past his fist. The skilled athlete then throws a rapid counterpunch that stops just a tiny millimeter away from his chin. Staring in complete awe, the young student realizes that his mentor is taking down these foes without even touching them. Getting extremely angry, the red-haired gang leader grabs a heavy metal bat to change the flow of the fight. The criminal threatens to end his boxing career while the superstar simply stands his ground calmly. Running forward with a wild grin, the leader swings the heavy bat, hoping to retire the famous champion. Moving faster than the wind, the professional boxer easily slips the weapon and lands a clean punch on his face. The heavy blow sends the arrogant gang boss flying backward onto the wet ground with absolute power. Looking at the falling leader, the champion shows no mercy as he prepares to end this fight quickly. He warns the criminal that bringing weapons to a street fight only makes him unleash his real power. In a flash of motion, the master delivers a devastating liver blow that completely crushes his opponent. Groaning in pure agony, the gang boss bends over while saliva escapes his mouth from the extreme impact. Gasping desperately for air, the fallen criminal realizes that he cannot even breathe after that single blow. The champion mentions how his fists move completely on autopilot whenever he faces a dangerous threat. Unleashing another strike, the professional boxer sends the red-haired leader flying through the rainy air. Watching the legendary boss get completely destroyed, the remaining thugs and the student freeze in disbelief. Standing calmly in the rain, the superstar casually asks if this entire situation counts as self-defense. Terrified by the display of absolute power, the surrounding suits slowly take a cautious step backward. Wearing a mocking smile, the athlete asks if they are seriously planning to quit the fight this early. He laughs at the big group because they always pick on kids but run away when facing a real challenge. Furious at his fleeing men, the glasses-wearing leader screams at them to keep fighting to prevent the leak. The champion decides to stop fighting since there is no point in beating up people who have already lost their courage. Instead of continuing the beating, the master decides to offer them a very simple deal to resolve the issue. He promises to keep the recorded video private if the criminals apologize to his student and leave immediately. Hearing this, the angry leader screams that he has no reason to apologize to some random kid on the street. The champion calmly asks if the stubborn man seriously wants to drag out a completely pointless battle. Glaring at his opponent, the criminal boss claims he is actually the one giving the superstar a generous choice. Looking incredibly annoyed by the stupid threat, the professional athlete watches the boss continue talking big. The sweaty gang leader grits his teeth in deep frustration as his body continues to shake with intense fear. Trying to save some pride, the angry boss decides to walk away while shouting that they will find another area. Suddenly, the powerful boxer calls out to the retreating leader to get his attention one last time. Before the criminal can even react, the professional athlete unleashes a lightning-fast slap to his face. The smiling champion mocks the fallen man for trying to act so tough while walking away from a losing fight. Holding his burning cheek in complete disbelief, the shocked leader screams at his attacker in pure confusion. Without hesitation, the master delivers another brutal slap to the other side of the boss face. Crying in pain, the defeated gang boss wonders how a world-famous celebrity can act like a total street thug. He continues to unleash a barrage of rapid slaps that echo loudly through the rainy mountain road. Taking a heavy step forward in the wet puddle, the boxer refuses to let his opponent escape so easily. Bruised and completely terrified, the gang leader cowers while trying to block any more incoming blows. Looking down with pure disgust, the professional athlete says he absolutely hates cowards who hide behind others. The master explains that anyone who tries to hurt others must be prepared to face the exact same treatment. Giving one final warning, the superstar orders the criminal to get on his knees and apologize to his student. Shaking with absolute terror, the ruined boss struggles to find any words while the pressure continues to rise. Feeling the weight of his defeat, his trembling knees slowly begin to buckle under the immense pressure. Watching the entire scene unfold, the young teenager stands completely frozen in absolute disbelief. Dropping heavily onto the wet ground, the proud leader finally swallows his pride and mumbles a desperate apology. The remaining suits stare in total silence as they witness their powerful boss getting humiliated in public. Soon the dark clouds begin to clear as the defeated criminals pile into their black cars and quickly drive away. Running over with the umbrella, the worried student asks his mentor if he is hurt after that intense encounter. The smiling champion explains that true power is about being in a position where you can easily protect your people. The student gets shocked when his mentor says he actually has the potential to become incredibly strong. The champion explains that he must leave the country soon but wants to introduce him to a legendary gym first. However, the boy must leave his beloved grandparents behind if he chooses to pursue this professional path. Back at the peaceful house, the family gets completely shocked by the sudden decision of the young teenager. The worried grandmother cannot believe her ears when he suddenly announces his plans to move to the big city. She strongly opposes the dangerous idea and refuses to let her precious grandson get into such violent fights. Bowing his head, the boy desperately explains that learning how to fight is the only way to protect them all. He passionately declares that he wants to become highly successful just to give them a truly comfortable life. The sweet lady sadly replies that she does not want any money earned from her dear child getting hurt in a ring. The young student quickly defends himself by revealing that he has actually been practicing secretly every day. Despite his desperate explanation, the stubborn elder still refuses to understand why it must be this sport. Clenching his fist tightly, the teenager prepares to reveal the real reason behind his deep, burning desire. Looking straight at his master, the young student confidently says that his ultimate goal is to become a boxer. He explains that only this specific sport can truly make him feel a real and unstoppable passion inside. The boy screams that he loves boxing just as much as he loves his dear grandparents. The old woman looks at his determined eyes and realizes she cannot change his mind as a soft sigh escapes. A flashback reveals that the young boy always put others first and never asked for any toys or treats. He never even complained about his missing parents, but now he is finally speaking up for his own dream. Looking at her worn hands, the elderly lady feels that she was simply being selfish by keeping him close. Embracing her grandson tightly, the emotional woman finally gives him permission and begs him to never get hurt. Feeling incredibly grateful, the young student smiles softly while thanking his beloved grandmother. Preparing to start his brand new journey, the brave teenager lifts his heavy bags to head out. Struggling under the massive weight, the boy wonders how he is supposed to carry all these heavy bags by himself. Walking out with another box, his grandmother says the big city is not that far and he needs to eat well to get strong. Looking at her grandson, she gently tells him that he can always come back home if he ever wants to give up on his dream. The sweet old lady promises that nobody will ever judge him or say a single bad word if he decides to return. Showing a bright smile, the determined teenager loudly declares that he has absolutely no intention of giving up. Turning her attention to the back, the grandmother suddenly notices the tall, athletic man standing right behind him. The superstar introduces himself with a polite smile, while the boy explains that this guy is driving him to the city. The angry grandmother immediately starts yelling at the mentor for putting foolish thoughts into her grandson's head. Changing her mind quickly, the old lady orders the muscular champion to carry some of the heavy bags for the journey. Wearing a completely blank expression, the mentor silently accepts the chore, while she asks him to protect her boy. A warm smile appears on the teenager's face as he realizes how much his family truly cares about his future. Waving goodbye to his grandmother, the young student tells her to stay inside as he starts walking away. Looking back one final time, the boy feels a deep sense of sadness as they leave the peaceful house behind. The elderly lady continues to stand outside the house watching her beloved grandson slowly walk away down the road. She keeps her eyes on them, even after their figures completely disappear in the distance. Feeling incredibly guilty, the boy tries to take the heavy bags back from his powerful mentor. The smiling champion tells him to forget about it, because they only need to carry everything to the parked car. While the teenager continues to apologize, a loud voice suddenly calls out his name from behind. Turning around in pure surprise, the boy sees several elderly neighbors running toward him down the dirt road. The angry elders yell at him for trying to leave for the big city of Seoul without saying goodbye first. One of the kind neighbors hands him a giant box of fresh strawberries and asks if he packed enough food. Showing a nervous smile, the young student feels incredibly touched by their warm gestures. Suddenly, another familiar voice calls his name, and he quickly turns his attention back to the path. Two elderly ladies thank the boy for fighting off the dangerous gangsters when the adults could not protect them. Tears slowly begin to form in the eyes of the old lady as she looks at her young savior. She bursts into loud dramatic crying while begging him to always eat well and stay safe in the big city. The young boy tries to comfort his crying grandmother by promising that he will come back to visit her very often. Standing nearby, a local grandfather wearing a green cap looks closely at the tall athletic trainer. Squinting his eyes, the elderly man asks if the famous boxer is actually someone he recognizes. Thinking he is finally getting recognized as a celebrity, the superstar proudly smiles and prepares to introduce himself. His confident smile quickly vanishes when the old man asks if he is just a strong worker who carries heavy bags. The kind elders praise the champion for looking so strong before asking him to take great care of the boy during his trip. Soon after their hilarious departure, they arrive in the massive city of Seoul filled with towering skyscrapers. Looking out the window of the yellow car, the young teenager stares in absolute awe at the giant buildings. The professional athlete soon parks his vehicle right outside a legendary local boxing gym. Inside the facility, several young athletes are seen training hard and throwing extremely fast punches. The busy fighters suddenly stop their active sparring when they notice someone entering the front door. Recognizing the legendary world champion immediately, the young trainees scream in excitement and ask for his autograph. A massive shadow suddenly appears behind the trainees and tells everyone to shut up and go back to work. The smiling champion is not intimidated at all and says the scary man has not changed a single bit. This legendary coach has silver hair and he looks very surprised to see his former student back in the gym. Standing face to face with his old teacher, the famous athlete explains that he came here to ask for a huge favor. He introduces the young boy as a hidden genius and the polite teenager bows deeply to greet the scary head coach. While the trainer complains about this troublesome request, the nervous teenager feels overwhelmed by his massive size. The other trainees whisper in the background, wondering how strong this new kid must be to get recommended by a legend. Looking closely at the kid, the gym owner gets highly curious since the champion has never done anything like this before. Without wasting any time, the old man throws a pair of red boxing gloves and tells the boy to put them on immediately. Putting on his training pads, the silver-haired master decides to test the boy's skills by having him hit the mitts. With a stern expression, the coach loudly commands the teenager to get into his proper fighting stance right away. The master lifts his target pad, and both of them face each other in the middle of the gym to start the quick test. Instead of a powerful punch, the old man gets completely confused when the rookie does not make a single move. The champion bursts out laughing because he realizes the boy has never trained with target mitts in his entire life. The coach commands the kid to throw a quick punch combination followed by a weave and a hook. The rookie instantly lunges forward and executes a decent two-punch strike on the pad. Instead of dodging the counter, the poor kid takes a direct hit straight to the face from the heavy mitt. A hilarious silence fills the room as the old teacher looks at the clueless boy with pure confusion. Standing in the back, the famous champion bursts out laughing after realizing the kid has no idea what a weave is. The other athletes also watch the embarrassing scene before slowly turning away to avoid getting involved. Despite the awkward start, the determined kid begins his daily routine at the famous boxing gym. Sweating profusely, the young boy maintains an incredibly focused gaze while keeping his fists up high. Walking over, the coach decides to teach him the basic defensive maneuvers to keep him from getting hurt. The master first demonstrates ducking by bending his knees slightly and moving diagonally to dodge straight jabs. Next, he shows how to weave by moving the hips in a smooth curve from side to side to avoid powerful hooks. Lastly, the silver-haired trainer explains swaying, which involves leaning the upper body backward to escape danger. The coach commands him to mix these defensive moves with his basic punches and practice until he gets it right. Moving his feet quickly, the young rookie throws a sharp jab as he tries to master the proper rhythm. Planting his feet firmly on the ground, the boy suddenly feels a strange and exciting sensation inside his body. Watching the training session, the silver-haired master comments that the rookie does not seem to possess massive talent. Looking closely at his former student, the elder wonders why he brought this completely average kid to the gym. The smiling mentor replies that his unique talent is simply something that cannot be seen easily at first glance. Saying goodbye to everyone, the professional champion waves his hand and prepares to leave for his busy schedule. Walking over to his old student, the head coach asks if he is truly prepared for his next highly dangerous opponent. Showing a very confident smirk, the superstar replies that the match will actually be much harder for his rival. Putting on some dark sunglasses, the champion steps outside where several excited fans immediately ask for his autograph. 3 days pass and the young boy is already showing insane progress with his punches. The head coach watches in complete disbelief as the rookie pulls off a perfect combo in just 3 days. The old trainer notices that the kid even corrected every single mistake mentioned during their first session. Curious about this progress, the master asks about his routine and learns the kid trains from 6 to 10. Realizing those are the exact opening hours of the building, the coach suddenly gets a weird suspicion. The nervous boy confesses that he actually sleeps right inside the boxing ring since he has no other home. Apologizing for his actions, the kid is quickly comforted by the master, who says he is not in trouble at all. The master wonders what the boy does before sleeping and learns he just visualizes his training moves. This response completely stuns the old trainer because most teenagers only care about playing on their phones. Letting out a loud laugh, the coach realizes his former disciple brought him an incredibly special kid. The head coach immediately orders an assistant to fetch a fighter named Seo-yun so they can start a sparring match. Hearing this news, the excited protagonist wonders if his opponent is actually a girl because of the soft name. A strong 17-year-old female boxer with 8 years of intense training experience soon enters the gym. Entering the ring together, the talented girl calmly prepares for the fight by putting in her protective mouthguard. While the rookie gets his gloves ready, the experienced female fighter wonders if she should go easy on the beginner. To keep things safe, the silver-haired trainer hands a thick red headgear to his nervous student before the match. Looking across the ring, the rookie gets worried when he notices his female opponent is not wearing any headgear. The experienced girl glares back with an incredibly scary expression after hearing the beginner worry about her safety. Watching from the sidelines, the trainees immediately think the rookie is completely doomed. Staring down at him, the angry girl calls out to the beginner with a cold voice. The innocent boy raises his gloved hands and looks back with a very confused face. She tells him to stop worrying about her safety and focus entirely on himself. He honestly wonders why this talented girl is suddenly so angry at him. A loud bell suddenly rings to signal the official start of their sparring session. Both fighters gently touch their gloves together before starting the intense duel. The experienced girl immediately drops into a low and highly aggressive stance. The nervous rookie takes a deep breath because this is his very first real match. Moving like a flash of light, she lunges forward with a terrifying expression. She instantly launches a powerful fist straight toward the beginner face. Widening his eyes, the rookie is completely shocked by her unbelievable speed. With a sharp glare, she looks for a perfect opening in his defensive guard. A flurry of rapid punches rains down on the defensive boy as she presses forward. The other trainees cheer for her fierce style, while the veteran head coach observes silently. The old coach watches carefully and knows that the fast girl is the perfect opponent to help the rookie learn. Launching a rapid attack, the experienced girl throws another swift blow to overwhelm the beginner right away. Keeping his guard high, the young teenager blocks the heavy strikes and tries his best to maintain his balance. While defending, he realizes that the local gangsters he fought before were incredibly slow compared to this girl. A barrage of fast punches lands on his red gloves as the aggressive girl continues to push him back with ease. Despite the massive pressure, the focused kid keeps his eyes wide open to find a way out of this tough situation. The experienced fighter does not slow down at all and prepares to throw another powerful hook to finish him. Concentrating with all his power, the rookie patiently waits for the perfect moment to slip past her defense. Moving his body in a smooth curve, the young boy executes a flawless weave to avoid her terrifying straight punch. The girl feels completely stunned when she realizes that a complete beginner has easily dodged her fastest attack. Standing in her blind spot, the clever boy finds the perfect opening while the girl is still recovering her balance. Seeing this amazing move, the head coach is shocked because the rookie learned the defensive stance in only 3 days. Slipping behind her guard, the young protagonist prepares his counterattack and gets ready to throw a strong blow. Sweating heavily, the female boxer quickly turns around and stares at him with an expression of pure disbelief. The silver-haired master observes the tense ring in complete silence and wonders how far this kid genius can actually go. The trainees watching from the sidelines are completely speechless after witnessing such an unexpected dodge. Feeling incredibly relieved, the rookie smiles and celebrates dodging her strike, but the trainer quickly scolds him. Leaning over the ropes, the angry coach yells that boxing is not dodgeball and he needs to attack the opening immediately. Scratching his headgear, the embarrassed boy apologizes because applying his training in a real fight is much harder. Meanwhile, the experienced female boxer stands frozen in disbelief because she cannot accept what just happened. Staring blankly, she feels deeply humiliated that a complete beginner easily predicted her fastest punch. Luckily, the loud bell rings to end the first round and give both fighters a quick break to recover. Panting heavily, the young rookie confesses that simply defending against her constant attacks is absolutely exhausting. Standing behind him, the experienced coach explains that he must find the perfect timing to counter his opponent. The silver-haired trainer gives some crucial advice by stating that dodging is not the only way to avoid getting hit. Looking down at the floor, the quiet teenager repeats those mysterious words in his mind to understand their true meaning. Suddenly, the metallic chime echoes through the gym to signal the start of the final round of their intense spar. Moving like a lightning bolt, the aggressive girl lunges forward and unleashes a massive punch straight at his head. Bending his knees perfectly, the focused boy slips underneath her terrifying strike with absolute precision. Widening his eye, the genius rookie concentrates fully and prepares to show the results of his intense training. Sweeping his head to the side, the young boy effortlessly avoids another massive strike from his opponent. Looking closely at her movements, the rookie realizes he is finally getting used to the insane speed of her punches. Suddenly, a heavy blow lands right on his face before he can even react to the sudden change of pace. Gritting his teeth, the boy realizes that dodging every single punch is still way too hard for him. Moving like a fluid shadow, he begins to sway left and right to dodge her next wave of attacks. Gasps escape her mouth when the girl realizes her target is slipping away from her fist. She feels an overwhelming pressure as the beginner suddenly starts to move faster with every passing second. Showing a bright smile, the rookie realizes his body is feeling lighter and more energized than before. Staring at her tired opponent, the girl wonders why this beginner still has so much energy left in his tank. She has no idea that the young boy spent his childhood carrying heavy boxes across a countryside village. Running daily through the steep mountain paths helped the kid build an incredibly strong physical foundation. Training hard for over 2 years without a break made him a monster when it comes to raw endurance. Throwing a sudden punch of his own, the rookie launches a fast red glove straight through the air. Gliding past her defense, the determined boy swings his fist upward to catch the experienced fighter off guard. Widening her eyes in complete terror, the girl realizes that the rookie is already combining defense with his attacks. The fast red glove grazes past her cheek and forces her to quickly lean back in surprise. Keeping his focus sharp, the young rookie immediately prepares his next move without wasting any time. Both fighters quickly reset their stances and take a brief moment to analyze the distance between them. Determined to regain control of the match, the aggressive girl steps forward and pushes ahead with full force. Watching her footwork carefully, the rookie gets ready, because he knows another big attack is coming his way. He remembers the wise words of his coach about using the lead hand to measure distance and stop an opponent. Suddenly, the boy launches a light jab that is not meant to hurt, but rather to disrupt her rhythm and check the range. The girl realizes her flow is ruined by that light strike while the rookie steps forward to press his advantage. Slipping low with incredible speed, the clever boy moves inside her guard and leaves her completely shocked. She realizes she cannot escape as the determined protagonist unleashes a massive punch to finish the match. The massive red glove stops just a fraction of an inch away from the terrified girl's face. Watching from below the ring, the other trainees freeze in shock while the old coach shows a proud smile. She stands completely frozen as the rookie slowly pulls his fist back after showing his incredible control. Bowing politely, the happy teenager thanks her for the amazing match and says he learned a lot from her. The confused girl can only stammer a quiet reply before they gently tap their gloves to end the spar. Leaning on the ropes, the silver-haired coach praises both of them and gives the boy some helpful advice. He then warns the talented girl that throwing punches out of pure emotion makes her attacks too easy to read. Nearby trainees gossip and say she won easily, but she knows the truth is completely different. She grits her teeth in frustration because a complete beginner managed to ruin her perfect flow in the ring. Looking at his cheerful smile, she realizes the young boy timed his final strike perfectly and never meant to hurt her. Following that intense training session, the dedicated protagonist continues to practice his skills every single day. Soon, the 23-year-old rising star of the gym named Park Sung-woo approaches the rookie for a fresh challenge. This aggressive challenger instantly shows off a wild infighting style that forces the newcomer to defend. Next up, a 19-year-old member named Park Dong-chan refuses to accept that this rookie is the master student. Belittling the tired boy, the snobby teenager claims there is absolutely nothing special about his skills. Soon, a 21-year-old heavy hitter named Park Wong steps into the ring to test the boy. Wearing thick headgear does not help much because those heavy strikes still shake the rookie to his core. Seeing the boy struggle, the kind giant pauses the spar and asks if he wants to take a quick break. Smiling brightly, the young rookie rejects the offer because he does not want to waste his partner precious time. Sparring constantly with different gym members helps the young protagonist grow at an unbelievable pace. His defense improves so much that he easily finds an opening to land a clean blow on the heavy hitter. Even the arrogant rival gets caught by a swift punch that completely shatters his pride in the ring. Eventually, the rookie even gets to exchange quick blows with the legendary silver-haired trainer himself. Day and night, the dedicated boy pushes his limits by running and hitting the heavy punching bag. Exactly 1 year later, the 18-year-old teenager finally arrives at the professional licensing venue. Inside the quiet arena, a pristine ring awaits the nervous contenders who want to make their grand debut. Standing in the center, the loud referee begins to call out the names of the fighters for the first match. The green-haired opponent is a 22-year-old lightweight named Park Chang-soo, who shows off a very confident grin. Looking at the crowd, the arrogant fighter suddenly spots a famous man standing near the ropes. He recognizes the mysterious guest as Lee Dojin, who is the president of the country's biggest sports agency. The greedy boxer feels like he just hit the jackpot when he also spots the legendary coach standing nearby. The old master keeps his serious expression while watching the young competitor prepare for his match. Seeing these big names in the audience makes the green-haired fighter believe he is destined to become a massive superstar. Suddenly, the bald referee calls out the name of the next competitor to step inside the ring. The aggressive competitor looks over with an evil smirk and wonders who he will be facing today. Our 18-year-old protagonist Lee Gang-chan steps up with his signature bright smile on his face. Seeing the innocent rookie, the green-haired opponent chuckles because he thinks he just got an easy match. Standing in the center of the ring, the official quickly explains the main safety rules to both contenders. The official orders the fighters to their corners and instantly starts the match. The green-haired boxer smiles arrogantly and launches a massive punch to end the fight quickly. The clever teenager easily slips under the terrifying strike with perfect timing. Before the opponent can even react, our protagonist prepares a swift counter from a low angle. A heavy red glove hits the arrogant fighter straight on the jaw and leaves him completely dazed. Gritting his teeth, the green-haired boy tells himself to stay focused for this important match. Suddenly, he looks around in absolute panic when he realizes the young rookie has disappeared. Moving like a ghost, the protagonist instantly appears right beside his target to launch another hit. A massive blow lands directly on the opponent's face and makes him grunt in extreme pain. The sheer force of the clean strike sends the experienced competitor flying backward across the ring. The green-haired fighter desperately tries to land a hit, but his massive swing only cuts through thin air. Sliding under the attack with ease, the young rookie moves with the grace of a professional dancer. Without wasting a single second, the boy delivers a brutal punch straight to his opponent's exposed ribs. Pain instantly shoots through the green-haired boy's entire body as he gasps for air in sheer agony. His weak legs begin to shake uncontrollably, while he desperately tries to back away to safety. Fear completely takes over his mind as he realizes his body is simply refusing to move properly. Looking around in absolute shock, the panicked boxer realizes he has been backed into the corner. Standing right in front of him, the quiet protagonist stares back with a terrifyingly calm expression. The crowd goes wild as the young rookie unleashes a barrage of lightning-fast punches. Raising his heavy green gloves, the desperate fighter can only cover his face to survive the storm. The unstoppable onslaught of blows continues to break through his guard with unbelievable power. Completely trapped against the ropes, the proud boxer is now entirely at the mercy of our protagonist. Tears fill his wide eyes as he silently begs for anyone in the audience to save him from this nightmare. Suddenly, the referee steps in and yells for them to stop before the green-haired fighter gets completely destroyed. Shaking uncontrollably, the defeated opponent drops to his knees on the canvas because he has absolutely no strength left. Tears fall down his face until the kind protagonist extends his hand to help the defeated boy stand up. Showing a warm smile, the polite teenager asks if the other fighter is all right and thanks him for the amazing match. The shocked boxer can only stare in disbelief before accepting the help and thanking our protagonist back. Watching from the side of the ring, the silver-haired coach looks extremely pleased with the boy's performance and attitude. Back at the gym, the dedicated teenager cleans the floor and welcomes his coach, who praises him for keeping the place clean. The proud master tells the young boy to take it easy because his heart is simply too kind and gentle. Scratching his head, the boy smiles but soon wonders about the mysterious dark figure standing directly behind his coach. The silver-haired coach suddenly jumps back in absolute shock when a mysterious woman in a suit appears right behind him. Bending down in a polite bow, the lady introduces herself as Kong Minji and says she represents the famous Champ Agency. Both the young rookie and his master stare at her with wide eyes because they did not expect such a fancy visitor today. Showing a sweet smile, the professional woman explains that she came to request a business meeting with the talented boy. Sitting around the table inside the gym, the skeptical old coach asks why she decided to show up so early in the morning. She nervously laughs and explains that she wanted to catch him, but the master says the dedicated rookie is always here training. Blushing deeply, the young lady admits she was terrified that another big company would steal the rising star first. Slamming her hand on the table out of excitement, she accidentally knocks over her cup and screams in total panic. Quickly cleaning up the mess, the polite protagonist tells her not to worry and asks what her famous agency actually does. She proudly explains that they represent elite athletes, including the legendary champion boxer named Seo Jun. The excited woman asks if the rumor about him being his mentee is true, and the teenager happily confirms the relationship. The representative promises that joining their agency will bring tons of attention and better deals with fight organizers. Arms crossed, the old master cuts in to say they already know those benefits and asks about the first match instead. Looking closely at the visitor, the silver-haired man asks if she has a specific opponent in mind for the debut. Smiling brightly, the young lady mentions a fighter named Hwang In-young while searching through her bag for the files. Suddenly, her face goes pale as she screams in panic upon realizing her tablet with all the data is missing. Sighing gently, the gym owner tells her it is fine since he already knows about the boxer she mentioned. The master explains that the target is strong and wonders why they should match the rookie with him so early. Leaning forward, the agent explains that this rival has 3 dominant wins with absolutely 0 losses. She believes the protagonist can win and notes there is a strategic reason to face a famous contender. The passionate woman looks at both of them and begins to talk about an event that happened 6 months ago. She asks if the coach remembers the legendary match between the champion and a warrior named Damon Carter. Hearing that familiar name makes the seasoned trainer narrow his eyes as he remembers the fierce opponent. A memory flashes back to when the wise master warned the champion that this upcoming fight would be extremely tough. That rival was undefeated with 15 straight wins and had easily climbed his way to a title shot. Everyone in the sports world believed this monster would finally defeat the champion, but the end result was shocking. In that epic match, the challenger lost badly without even leaving a single scratch on the champion's face. Unable to accept the brutal defeat, the legendary warrior immediately demanded a rematch. The big rematch was set in Korea, and the agency planned to open this massive event with the rookie debut. Marketing the teenager as the champion top student while facing a rising star would guarantee a perfect debut. Hearing that he would open the show for his mentor makes the young boy realize how great these terms are. Folding his arms, the old master turns to the teenager and asks what he thinks about this opportunity. Stammering at first, the young boxer suddenly shouts with excitement because he really wants to see the main fight. Satisfied with the answer, the old coach tells the lady that they are happy to accept the business proposal. Promising to bring the opponent fight footage tomorrow, the happy agent accidentally trips and falls on her way out. Sweat running down his face, the rookie wonders if they can actually trust such a clumsy representative with his career. The wise master reassures him that the famous company is highly reliable and will take good care of them. Sending the boy out to run, the trainer mentions it is finally time to start cutting weight for the big match. During his intense workout, the exhausted protagonist pushes his body past its limits. Sweat drips onto the cold floor as his tired feet struggle to keep up with the brutal pace. Every muscle in his body screams in pain from the extreme weight-cutting process. Standing nearby, the strict master yells at his young student to keep moving forward. Seeing the boy fatigued, the trainer orders him to go outside and jog along the sparkling river. With his vision blurring from exhaustion, the tired teenager can only nod in agreement. Arriving at the beautiful water, the peaceful view brings a moment of calm to his mind. While taking a short break on the path, the kind rookie notices a stray cat sitting nearby. Squatting down, he happily feeds the small animal a delicious treat he had in his pocket. Watching the feline eat, he softly whispers how nice it must be to live such a simple life. The hungry cat happily finishes every single drop of the tasty treat. Staring at the ground, the exhausted athlete admits he just wants to rest for a little while. Once the snack is completely finished, the little animal looks up looking for more food. Wrapping his arms around his knees, the weary teenager sits quietly in the warm sunlight. He silently begs for his body to recover quickly so he can face the upcoming challenge. The messy-haired boy, staring at the floor, quietly wishes that some strong fighter would finally defeat him. Running past him, the rookie looks back at the sad figure while keeping up his intense jogging pace. He knows this debut match is incredibly important, and he absolutely cannot ruin his master reputation. Showing a highly determined face, the teenager promises himself that he will win this upcoming fight. Back at the gym, they watch footage of the rival who finished all his matches in the very first round. Every single victory came from dodging attacks and landing perfect counter punches to finish his opponents. The old trainer points out that this opponent relies on a fast vision that is very similar to his own. To beat him, the coach suggests starting with a close combat strategy to confuse the undefeated boxer. Suddenly, the protagonist interrupts the talk because he has no idea how to pause the video on the screen. Laughing out loud, the master teases the kid for being worse with modern smartphones than an old man. Looking closely at the frozen image, the young rookie mentions that something feels off about the fighter. He pauses right at the moment when the rival is clearly winning the match and dominating his opponent. Even though he is victorious, the boy points out that the rival looks incredibly sad on screen. Rubbing his chin, the wise trainer notes that the rival looks like someone who actually wants to lose. The coach quickly dismisses this strange idea, saying there is no way a successful athlete wants that. The master tells the boy to stop saying useless things and focus on his training instead. Soon the official weigh-in day finally arrives and the big venue is packed with flashing cameras. Standing without his shirt makes the protagonist feel super embarrassed, but his coach tells him to walk with confidence. Stepping onto the scale, his weight is registered at 60.8 kilograms, which is well under the limit. The excited reporters quickly ask the boy to make a cool pose and he awkwardly raises a peace sign for the cameras. Both fighters are then ordered to step forward and take their official stances for a face-to-face photo. Showing his usual friendly smile, the polite protagonist welcomes his opponent and asks for a good match. The rival looks at him with dead eyes and wonders if this entire situation is actually fun for the rookie. Staring blankly at the happy teenager, the undefeated boxer admits he is extremely envious of that bright smile. He quietly confesses that he has never once smiled while participating in this brutal sport. Left completely speechless by those dark words, the protagonist can only stare at his opponent in silence. The silver-haired coach suddenly stops and spots a quiet man sitting alone at a table. Looking closely at the shadow, the old trainer is shocked to recognize this famous figure. Meanwhile, news about the rookie weigh-in quickly spreads all the way to his small hometown. Hearing about the newspaper article, his grandmother looks completely stunned by the sudden fame. 1 week later, the massive arena is packed to the brim with screaming fans waiting for the event. The young protagonist is totally amazed because his entire village back home has less than 10 people. Stepping forward under the bright lights, the champion star student finally makes his grand entrance. Turning back with a warm smile, the boy thanks his friend for supporting him and promises to do his best. She angrily yells that he should only promise victory instead of saying such depressing things to his opponent. The cheerful protagonist simply turns around with a bright smile while preparing to enter the ring. Holding the warm-up equipment, the old coach looks at his student and reminds him to fight exactly as they practiced. Stepping onto the canvas with his red boxing shoe, the rookie officially enters the massive battlefield. Looking across the ring, he spots his undefeated rival standing there with an incredibly gloomy expression. Showing his absolute politeness, the happy teenager bows deeply and shouts a very cheerful greeting to his opponent. This extremely friendly behavior causes the entire crowd to laugh in confusion at the strange rookie. Laughing awkwardly, the young boxer tries to hide the intense pressure he is feeling inside his chest. He silently admits he is incredibly nervous while noticing the rival looks as sad as a rainy day. When the referee asks if they are ready, the polite protagonist shouts loudly and bows once again. The official tells both fighters to return to their respective corners and prepare for the action to begin. Swiping his finger down, the referee signals the start of the first round with a loud shout. Moving forward, both athletes gently touch their gloves together to officially start the highly anticipated match. Both fighters start the match by slowly probing each other with their lead hands to find a safe opening. The tense crowd holds its breath as they wonder which athlete will be the first one to make a move. Suddenly, the undefeated rival leaps forward and launches a lightning-fast strike toward the protagonist. He easily slips under the rookie lead hand with a swift duck to dodge the incoming defense. Without wasting any time, the aggressive opponent follows up with a powerful right hook to the head. Showing his incredible reflexes, the skilled protagonist moves his head back to smoothly avoid the danger. The talented rookie confidently thinks that his opponent is just as predictable as everyone else. He immediately launches a sharp counterstrike while his rival is still recovering from the missed swing. Feeling completely certain of his victory, the young boxer expects his strike to land perfectly. However, the calm rival does not show even a single hint of panic in this dangerous situation. Instead, a confident smile appears on his face as he prepares to show why he is the best. The sudden change in atmosphere makes the shocked protagonist realize that he fell into a trap. With a simple tilt of his head, the rival easily avoids the fast punch with minimal effort. Having completely bypassed the attack, the opponent stands in a perfect position to strike back. He launches his red glove forward with incredible speed to deliver a brutal counterblow. With a sudden move, the protagonist delivers the first clean hit of the match and leaves his opponent completely stunned. The massive crowd erupts in cheers as the referee announces that the point officially goes to the young Kang Chan. Looking back at their preparation, the wise master showed his student some videos of the rival to find his main weakness. Scratching his head, the young boy admitted he had no clue what the undefeated champion was doing wrong during his fights. The silver-haired coach explained that the opponent is incredibly arrogant because he never faced anyone on his level. Because of this pride, the rival always tries to finish matches quickly and expects everyone to fall for the same trick. Staring intensely at his student, the coach claimed they would exploit this exact opening to win the match. Back in the present, the protagonist uses that advice to launch a heavy body blow right under the rival guard. Feeling the heavy impact of the strike, the undefeated fighter opens his eyes wide in absolute shock. From the corner of the ring, the opponent angry trainer screams at him to wake up and focus on the battle. Gritting his teeth, the black-haired boxer tries to regain his composure while feeling the pressure building up. He instantly throws a wild punch to retaliate, but the agile protagonist easily ducks under the dangerous swing. The protagonist throws a fast punch, but the rival quickly slips away to avoid getting hit again. Pivoting on his foot, the black-haired boxer steps back to create some safe distance between them. Heavily panting, the tired rival realizes his opponent is just standing there waiting for his next move. From the corner, the angry coach screams at his fighter to use quick jabs so he can catch his breath. With a focused glare, the protagonist suddenly rushes forward and launches a rapid flurry of punches. Multiple shadowy fists appear in front of the rival, who struggles to dodge this overwhelming speed. One of those quick jabs clips the rival face, while the calm rookie keeps up the intense pressure. Recognizing he cannot dodge all these attacks, the rival panics as the hero steps in to finish the job. Slipping underneath the opponent jab, the young rookie demonstrates his crazy fast reflexes on the ring. Quickly throwing a punch of his own, the hero makes it look like a miss to trick his rival. The black-haired boxer suddenly realizes this attack is actually just a clever feint to open his guard. Sweating with fear, the undefeated fighter watches a heavy red glove coming right toward him with massive speed. Even though the rival raises his arms to defend, the young protagonist easily slips underneath to land a heavy body blow. Feeling the brutal impact of that strike, the shocked rival loses his balance and stumbles backward on the canvas. Without giving his opponent any time to recover, the aggressive rookie steps in to launch another powerful attack. Delivering a second massive blow to the ribs, the calm champion leaves his rival completely unable to find his footing. The coach explains that during a long match, the opponent will definitely use fast footwork to keep his distance. To counter this movement, the veteran trainer demonstrates that landing heavy body shots is the absolute best solution. He says that targeting the stomach will eventually freeze the enemy legs and let them completely control the pace. The old master adds that boxers actually predict attacks using deep calculation instead of just relying on pure eyesight. Back in the present, we see the rookie use perfect timing to completely overwhelm his opponent's speed with absolute precision. Just before another heavy strike lands, the worried referee suddenly jumps in between the two fighters to stop the action. The official loudly declares that the very first round is officially over and orders both athletes back to their corners. Walking back, the shocked champion realizes this is the first time he ever had to fight past the opening round. Walking back to his corner, the sweaty champion realizes the rookie completely controlled the first round. His angry coach immediately starts screaming and demands to know why he did not block those heavy body shots. The trainer continues lecturing his fighter and reminds him that his opponent is just an inexperienced rookie. Looking extremely tense, the older man demands a total victory from his undefeated star. He reminds the young champion that defeating the student of their great rival is a massive opportunity. While his team works on his tired legs, the quiet boxer can only sit in silence and listen to the scolding. From across the ring, the calm protagonist watches the opposite corner with a very focused expression. Looking closely at his rival, the main character notices a deep sadness in those tired eyes. The story then flashes back to when the champion was just a young boy in the 5th grade. Walking through an alley, he saw some older students bullying a helpless stray cat on the ground. Feeling a sudden rush of anger, the boy immediately threw his fists before even thinking about it. The brutal attack ended up sending one of the older bullies straight to the hospital with heavy injuries. Soon after, his father bowed his head to apologize to the angry mother of the injured teenager. The young boy fully expected his parent to yell at him for causing such a huge scene. Instead, a very creepy smile appeared on the father's face as he looked down at his son. The rival recalls that his father was actually a professional boxer during his youth. However, the man ultimately failed to achieve his biggest dreams of reaching the top level. Even though he won several domestic medals, his skills were just not enough for the world stage. Because the sport could not even feed his family, the broken man eventually gave up his dream and started drinking. Everything changed when the timid boy easily defeated kids who were 3 years older than him. Seeing this incredible talent, the father realized his son could finally achieve the glory he never got. The training became a brutal nightmare, as the obsessed father forced the young boy to practice without rest. Desperate to escape this torture, the young child decided to lose a match on purpose, so his father would let him go. Instead of letting him go, the furious man punished him so severely that the boy could not even stand up. Lying on the cold floor, the crying child realized there was absolutely no escape from this nightmare. Back in the present, a heavy red glove suddenly cuts through the air to break the champion's sad memories. The protagonist launches a powerful punch that forces the black-haired boxer to raise his guard in panic. Unable to withstand the incredible pressure, the rival struggles to keep his footing on the canvas. Sweat drips down his face as the champion silently begs his opponent to finally defeat him. He desperately wants to end this miserable cycle of suffering under his father's control. Staring at the young rookie, the exhausted boxer wonders why his opponent is smiling so brightly. He feels completely confused because there is absolutely nothing fun about being forced to fight. The tired fighter wonders how anyone could possibly find joy in a place that feels like absolute torture. Sensing his rival pain, the protagonist says that this ring must feel like a prison to him. Standing tall, the hero claims that this arena is actually the perfect stage where he can prove himself. He tells the other boxer to fight with everything he has to break free from whatever chains him down. Hearing those inspiring words, the young athlete feels a sudden spark ignite deep inside his heart. Suddenly, the angry voice of his trainer breaks the silence and demands that he start throwing punches. Instantly, the main character launches a lightning-fast strike that cuts straight through the air. With a massive surge of determination, the challenger prepares to break his heavy chains once and for all. Chan mentions he watched all his opponent's past matches to prepare for this big moment. However, the rookie notices that the champion never showed a single trace of joy on his face. The hero claims that the undefeated fighter is just moving like a machine and acting like a bully. Hearing this, the black-haired boxer looks absolutely shocked as the truth hits him hard. The protagonist remembers watching his rival in the past when the young boy was secretly feeding a cat. Back in the present, the main character declares that this fake version is not the real fighter. He knows that the champion is definitely not the kind of person who enjoys hurting the weak. Chan confidently adds that he is much stronger than anyone the champion has ever faced before. With a loud shout, the rookie demands that his opponent throw everything he has into this battle. Suddenly, the champion feels a strange warmth in his chest as his heart begins to beat rapidly. The young man wonders if he actually hated the sport or if his feelings were just misunderstood. He suddenly realizes that his true hatred was always directed toward his obsessed father. It was the cruel forcing of the sport that made him suffer because he actually loved boxing. His true passion was always about standing up against the strong and defending those in need. With a clear mind, the boxer remembers why he first started throwing punches to push forward. Standing in the dark, the young champion finally remembers who he truly is inside. With a highly determined look, he declares his resolve to everyone in the arena. Sliding his foot forward, the powerful boxer prepares to launch a completely different style. His body shifts as the crowd realizes he is actually a dangerous natural infighter. Looking directly at his rival, the proud athlete calls out the young rookie name. He says he officially recognizes the brave protagonist as a highly worthy opponent. Hearing this, the smiling rookie claims that things are finally starting to get fun. Instantly, the black-haired fighter charges ahead to deliver a massive blow. The giant fist barely misses as the quick main character tilts his head to dodge. Both athletes exchange crazy fast strikes while dodging at point-blank range. Even in this dangerous situation, the relaxed protagonist keeps a very calm face. The hero suddenly realizes he cannot dodge the incoming strike in time. Deciding to trade blows, the main character launches his own powerful fist forward. He manages to perfectly block the rival attack using a solid defensive stance. The rival is completely shocked when he sees his best punch get blocked so easily. The angry father screams from the sidelines and demands to know why his son suddenly changed his entire boxing style. Ignoring the yelling, the two fighters lock themselves in a crazy exchange of heavy punches at close range. Seeing this incredible display, the abusive parent stands completely frozen with a look of pure shock on his face. The determined rookie realizes that his opponent has completely transformed into a different beast. From the other corner, the wise old trainer suddenly screams at his student to get away from the ropes. Raising his red gloves, the young protagonist desperately searches for a quick escape route to find his footing. The powerful champion instantly shuts down any hope of escape and steps forward to keep his massive pressure. A heavy blow successfully lands on the rookie guard and forces him even deeper into the corner. The crowd notices the champion is using a perfect ring-cut tactic to trap the main character against the ropes. Sweat drips down the hero's face as he breathes heavily while trying to find a way out of this dangerous trap. Looking just as exhausted, the black-haired boxer remains completely focused on securing his ultimate victory. The crowd holds their breath as the two warriors stand face-to-face in the tightest corner of the ring. With a sudden burst of energy, the champion throws a lightning-fast strike directly at the rookie head. The heavy punch makes solid contact with the hero defense and shakes the entire arena with its sheer power. His eyes widen in complete surprise when the protagonist realizes just how strong his rival has truly become. A fast punch connects directly with the champion's face and shakes him up. Gritting his teeth, the black-haired boxer tries his best to withstand the heavy impact. The protagonist continues his relentless assault by landing multiple blows on the opponent guard. Bending low, the trapped champion struggles under the incredible pressure of the rapid attacks. Holding up his red gloves, the exhausted boxer realizes he must find a way to escape this corner quickly. From the side, the old coach shouts loudly to remind his student not to panic against an infighter. He tells the young champion to remember his previous matches against much heavier opponents. Widening his eyes, the fighter begins to recall his intense preparation before this major event. His mind flashes back to all those difficult sparring sessions with a powerful senior classmate. In the memory, a massive warrior rushes forward with an incredibly aggressive stance. The bulky senior throws a fast strike that cuts straight through the defensive line. Dodging the attack easily, the young boxer counters with a quick punch of his own. The senior feels completely shocked by the insane weight of the champion's strikes. Both fighters trade constant blows as the young athlete shows off his natural talent. Moving his feet quickly, the genius boxer easily outmaneuvers his training partner. During the intense memory, the young athlete gets surprised by how fast his training partner moves. With his guard raised high, the young fighter realizes he is already trapped deep in the corner. Suddenly, the senior teammate launches a rapid punch that hits his defensive stance directly. The senior classmate tells him to fight back like a cornered mouse and throws another heavy strike. He explains that throwing multiple punches is the only way to carve out some space and escape. Keeping his guard up, the young genius focuses all his attention on finding a small opening to strike. Instantly, the young champion launches a sudden counterpunch that completely startles his opponent. He connects a string of rapid strikes that begins to push the massive senior classmate back. The training partner tells him to break the opponent rhythm by throwing a clever feint next. Shuffling his feet quickly, the young prodigy uses incredible footwork to position himself perfectly. The senior classmate is left completely shocked as a massive punch flies straight toward his face. Following his senior advice, the young genius easily slips out of the corner to escape the heavy pressure. Returning to the present, the young champion realizes he finally knows how to handle this dangerous situation. With a big smile on his face, the confident protagonist declares that it is finally his turn to take control. Sliding his red boots forward, the young rookie prepares to unleash a heavy barrage of attacks. Suddenly, the main character launches a powerful punch that forces his rival to quickly defend. Moving with incredible speed, the black-haired fighter ducks low to dodge another massive swing. Both fighters continue to exchange insanely fast strikes without showing any signs of backing down. Staring directly at each other, the two warriors lock eyes with pure determination as the battle heats up. From the sidelines, the loud coach screams at his student to remember the setup he built throughout the match. Hearing the urgent advice, the young champion quickly resets his stance and focuses on his opponent. He starts moving his feet to use the clever traps that the rookie cannot help but worry about. The protagonist keeps his focus entirely on his target and lands a brutal punch directly to his rival body. Shocked by the sudden impact, the young champion grits his teeth as he realizes the attack is coming at him again. Ducking low with incredible speed, the red-gloved rookie easily slips under a wild counterstrike to find his angle. Instantly, the protagonist fires another heavy punch that smashes right into his rival's side to maintain his rhythm. Shifting his weight quickly, the black-haired boxer uses his excellent footwork to dodge and slide away from the ropes. Determined to reclaim his dominance, the champion swings aggressively, while shouting that he will not allow any space. With perfect timing, the agile rookie bends his upper body to let the dangerous fist pass harmlessly over his head. Rapidly shuffling his red boots, the smiling main character closes the distance once more to launch a counter-assault. Extending his arm fully, the skilled protagonist throws a lightning-fast jab directly toward his opponent's face. The clean punch makes solid contact with the rival defense and forces the champion to halt his forward progress. Protecting his face with his black gloves, the champion realizes his opponent is trying to keep him away using jabs. Charging ahead with pure determination, the black-haired boxer lunges forward to break through the persistent defense. Watching closely, the clever rookie realizes his plan worked since he successfully baited his rival with those punches. Planning his next move perfectly, the protagonist rushes forward to catch his opponent off guard at the right moment. Planting his red boot firmly on the canvas, the young main character steps inside to deliver his ultimate counter. Falling for a clever trap, the black-haired boxer panics as he realizes his lead foot is completely caught. Stepping in with extreme speed, the red boots of the rookie slide forward to seal the deal. Keeping his eyes locked on the target, the young rookie moves with an incredibly scary level of focus. A brutal blow lands directly on the champion's chest and leaves him completely breathless from the impact. Without giving his opponent a single second to recover, the protagonist unleashes a massive combination. Heavy strikes continue to rain down as the black-haired fighter struggles to maintain his defense. Bringing back his red glove, the young hero delivers a devastating punch that shatters the champion defense. The stunned champion loses his balance and his knees crash heavily onto the canvas floor. The referee immediately rushes over to stop the action and declares a shocking knockdown. The entire arena erupts in pure chaos as the official count begins for the fallen warrior. Tension fills the arena as the referee begins the slow count with the protagonist looking on. The pressure rises quickly while the coaches watch the ring in extreme suspense. Watching from the stands, a young girl in a blue jacket holds her breath in worry. Suddenly, a black boot slams hard against the canvas to stop the count at 5. Staggering to his feet, the brave champion slowly rises to continue the battle. A look of pure defiance shines brightly through his swollen eyes. The main character stands completely frozen by this unbelievable show of willpower. Despite his severe injuries, the stubborn warrior lets out a bloody smile. The rookie simply stares in silence as his rival refuses to back down. Without warning, the champion's remaining strength fades and his head drops forward. Collapsing back to the canvas, the exhausted boxer finally accepts his defeat. The announcer loudly confirms that the battle has reached its ultimate end. A massive grin spreads across the face of the victorious rookie. Gang-chan screams in absolute joy as his spectacular knockout is declared. The entire crowd erupts in wild cheers as the polite winner bows to show his respect. Gently placing a supportive arm around his opponent's neck, the victorious rookie helps him stand up. Feeling truly grateful for the kind gesture, the defeated champion quietly whispers his thanks. With a bright smile on his face, the friendly protagonist tells him that it is really no big deal at all. A genuine smile finally appears on his bruised face as he thanks the winner for everything. Stepping out of the ring, the tired athlete slowly makes his way down to where his trainer is waiting. Suddenly, the exhausted fighter stumbles a bit and holds his forehead due to the massive physical strain. Seeing his student in pain, the concerned older man reaches out to check on him. Instantly, the stubborn boy slaps the reaching hand away with a sudden burst of anger. He coldly tells his coach that he will never live by anyone else's wishes again and walks away. Leaving the older man completely silent, the young athlete walks off to show his new independence. The silent trainer admits that his student was impressive and had an unexpected talent for infighting. Staring blankly with bruised eyes, the defeated warrior feels a drop of blood run down his chin as his former partner walks away. Walking down the quiet hallway, the young champion happily thanks his trainer for helping him secure this major victory. The coach pretends to be calm but secretly becomes overjoyed by the sweet words of his favorite student. The happy hero turns to his female teammate and gladly agrees to support her in the ring during her next big fight. Suddenly, a group of excited elderly neighbors runs down the corridor to celebrate the rookie's first major win. The proud grandfather immediately examines his grandson's bruised face while praising how much the boy has grown. With a huge laugh, the young boxer reassures his family that he is completely fine and did not get hurt. The protagonist notices someone is missing and asks why his grandmother did not join the celebration today. Looking quite nervous, the old man quickly explains that she got busy with some urgent business and could not make it. The champion smiles warmly when he hears his grandfather talk about how much everyone wanted to watch him fight. Another excited neighbor from the village cheers loudly and expresses her joy for being able to witness such a great match. The old lady explains that a helpful lady named Minji guided them all the way from the village and even saved them seats. Hearing this, the young hero turns around with a bright smile to thank the beautiful manager for being so incredibly kind. The helpful woman waves her hands and claims it is only natural for their company to take good care of his family. Watching the interaction from behind, the female teammate stares with a very annoyed look while judging him in her mind. She feels completely irritated because she thinks he gets easily distracted whenever a pretty girl is around him. Suddenly, the protagonist realizes that he needs to hurry up and get ready so he can watch his own master fight. He quickly tells his grandparents that they should also go inside the arena to watch the next incredible match. The sweet old lady looks completely shocked and explains they only came for him because the other kits are too expensive. Meanwhile, the grandfather looks closely at a promotion poster and admits that the mysterious fighter looks very familiar. Suddenly, a loud voice greets them, and the young athlete turns his head in surprise to see who just walked up. A legendary boxer wearing a white robe smiles and tells the protagonist that he really enjoyed watching his match. The nearby neighbors gasp in disbelief as they suddenly realize this handsome visitor is actually the world champion. The grandfather suddenly shouts in shock as he recognizes the famous visitor from their past encounter. Smiling calmly under his hood, the popular warrior reveals his identity as the legendary Seo Jun. Realizing he just called a superstar a mere worker, the old man immediately panics over his slip of the tongue. Turning his attention to the young hero, the champion offers a warm smile and congratulates him on the victory. He adds that since his own student won, he must also enter the ring and show everyone how a true master fights. The protagonist can only stare in absolute awe at the immense presence of the strongest fighter on the planet. With a confident grin, the expert tells the rookie to watch his upcoming match closely and learn some valuable lessons. Staring at the departing figure, the young athlete begins to recall the first time he ever saw this legend in action. The whole family watches silently as the superstar walks down the hallway surrounded by his massive security team. Memories flash back to the moment the famous boxer stepped into the ring and shook the ground with his heavy step. The intense pressure from that entrance made the rookie feel like a literal earthquake was hitting the entire building. Tens of thousands of fans in the audience instantly exploded with wild cheers to welcome their absolute favorite star. The massive stadium echoed with a deafening noise as the crowd roared with excitement for the upcoming main event. Walking out under the bright spotlights, the legendary master looked ready to completely dominate his opponent. His sharp blue eyes glowed with an unmatched intensity that showed why he is considered the absolute best in the world. Across the ring, a fierce opponent with silver hair stares intensely and mutters the legend name. Stepping firmly onto the canvas, the superstar prepares himself while the entire crowd begins to roar his name. Thousands of passionate fans raise their hands in the air to support their favorite champion. Glaring across the ring, the tan challenger mutters that it must be nice to have so many people who care. Instead of taking the threat seriously, the legendary master simply yawns and tells him to go home. An angry vein pops on the challenger forehead before the referee tells both athletes to return to their corners. Leaning against the ropes, they wait for the signal to start this highly anticipated matchup. A cold and sharp look appears in the blue eyes of the world champion as he prepares for battle. The red-eyed rival crouches down with pure hatred in his gaze right before the start signal sounds. Charging forward like a wild beast, the silver-haired boxer flies across the ring to deliver a massive opening strike. The silver-haired challenger throws a powerful punch, trying to end the fight right away. Easily dodging the attack, the legendary champion smirks and wonders why his opponent is in such a big rush. With incredible footwork, the blue-haired master bounces lightly on the canvas to set up his next move. He instantly launches a quick jab, but the rival manages to guard and keep his ground. Glaring with red eyes, the challenger swings a heavy counter only for the champion to slip past it. A crazy exchange of blows begins as both fighters show off their unreal reflexes. The master slides his foot across the canvas and finds a perfect opening to strike back. Pivoting on his heel, the legendary warrior easily avoids another incoming punch from his frustrated rival. With extreme speed, he unleashes a devastating straight punch that connects directly with the opponent's face. Shockwaves run through the challenger brain as he realizes the sheer difference in power. The commentator announces that this entire insane exchange of blows actually lasted only 3 seconds. Gang Chan stares in utter disbelief, realizing that a normal person cannot even process that amount of speed. The two masterclass athletes stand in front of each other and suddenly twitch at the exact same moment. The young rookie wonders what just happened, but the veteran coach explains they are reacting to hidden feints. The old master adds that true champions do not just fight with their fists because their minds are also in conflict. Looking at his student's swollen eye, the coach silently hopes the boy realizes his own face is getting worse by the minute. Back in the ring, the furious challenger targets his opponent with a massive jab using his lead hand. Showing off his legendary reflexes, the blue-haired champion slips right under the dangerous strike to launch a counter. The silver-haired rival barely manages to twist his muscular body and raise a tight guard to block the attack. Despite blocking the hit, the insane force behind the champion punch easily blows the defender guard wide open. Sweating in pure terror, the challenger realizes the unmatched power of his enemy as the blue eyes lock onto him. Without giving his opponent a single second to breathe, the legendary champion unloads a massive barrage of punches. Gritting his teeth with absolute rage, the silver-haired warrior tries his best to withstand the heavy onslaught. The blue-haired master easily slips through the defense and finds a perfect opening to throw a finishing blow. A powerful fist lands directly on the target chin, causing a loud ringing sound to echo inside his head. Losing all his balance, the tough challenger crashes heavily onto the blue canvas as the crowd goes completely wild. Staring blankly at the bright ceiling lights, the fallen fighter listens to the referee, starting the official count at 1. Standing calmly in his corner, the handsome champion watches the referee quickly shout 2 and then 3. The intense count keeps going up as the referee shouts 4 and then 5 and then 6, while checking the down player. Shaking with pure exhaustion, his leg struggles to find grip as the countdown reaches 7. Showing incredible willpower, the silver-haired beast somehow gets back up and raises his guard once again. The referee asks if he can still fight, and the brave challenger firmly replies that he is ready to continue. Nodding in approval, the official waves his hands and shouts to signal the continuation of this crazy match. The calm champion turns around to face his rival again, looking quite impressed by the man's endless determination. The legendary master admits his opponent has a lot of spirit, but his smile says there is a huge catch. Moving with incredible grace, the blue-haired champion easily slips under another massive swing from the challenger. Under no circumstances is the world's superstar going to take such reckless and wild punches directly. Watching from the crowd, the young rookie wonders how the master landed a counter without even setting his stance. The old coach explains that the veteran actually slipped and launched an attack at the exact same time. He adds that only a god-tier boxer can make such insane moves work in those high-pressure situations. Looking down at his fallen opponent, the old coach declares that this elite adaptability is what makes a true champion. Staring down with a cold grin, the blue-haired master tells his opponent to get up because ending the fight now is too boring. The fallen beast glares from the canvas with blood dripping down his face while refusing to accept defeat. His worried coach screams desperately from the corner, telling him to stand up and survive the first round. Summoning every last bit of his strength, the silver-haired fighter tries to push his heavy body off the ground. Tragically, his exhausted muscles completely fail him and he crashes heavily back onto the canvas. The proud champion stares in silence as he realizes his opponent cannot even stand up to continue their battle. Looking down at the injured challenger, the referee wonders if the beaten athlete can even continue the match. The red eye of the silver-haired fighter suddenly glows with a fierce flame of raw determination. Pushing his shaking body off the canvas, the brave challenger refuses to let this fight end so quickly. Blood drips from his chin as the wounded boxer grits his teeth to overcome the immense pain. With a heavy stomp, he firmly plants his foot on the canvas to find his balance once again. Although his legs are completely unstable, the crowd gasps when they see that Carter is back on his feet. Fortunately for him, the bell finally rings to signal the end of round 1 and save him from immediate defeat. Back in the corner, the champion happily drinks water, while his trainer prepares him to finish the job in round 2. Meanwhile, the opponent corner is pure chaos as the coaches desperately try to treat the massive injuries. Trying to grab a simple water bottle, the silver-haired warrior struggles to even move his hands properly. His hands shake uncontrollably because the nerves in his arms are completely shattered from the previous hits. The plastic bottle slips from his loose grip and crashes loudly onto the ring floor. Staring at his useless hands, the injured athlete realizes that he cannot feel his own fingers anymore. He slowly begins to panic as he wonders if he took too much brain damage from that final devastating combo. Looking across the ring, he is shocked to see the champion sitting peacefully without a single scratch on his face. Smiling softly, the legendary master stares right at his opponent with a look of pure confidence. Cold sweat drips down the challenger face as he realizes his opponent saw his shaking hands. The referee shouts for everyone to leave the ring because the second round is about to begin. Cheering loudly from the corner, the coach tells his starfighter to stay focused and end this. Raising his heavy gloves, the silver-haired warrior takes a defensive stance to protect his injured face. The wounded challenger knows his shaking legs will never survive all 12 rounds of this brutal fight. Believing that offense is his only hope, he lunges forward with a quick jab to keep the master away. With effortless grace, the superstar tilts his head back to let the dangerous fist pass harmlessly by. Moving like a ghost, the blue-haired beast slips inside the defense and prepares to strike back. A sudden gasp escapes the rival lips as the absolute difference in speed becomes too much to handle. Desperate to survive, the hurt athlete reaches forward, trying to grab his opponent in a tight clinch. Bouncing lightly on his feet, the champion easily sidesteps the grab and leaves his enemy grasping thin air. Losing his balance, the silver-haired fighter finds himself completely defenseless in front of a god-tier striker. A sharp blue light flashes in the winner eyes as he locks onto the perfect target for his next combo. Heavy shockwaves echo through the arena as the master unleashes a flurry of devastating body blows. The young rookie is shocked that the champion pushed his opponent with his shoulder before landing a quick flurry of blows. That devastating attack marks the third knockdown of the fight as the legendary master raises his arm in victory. Hearing the crowd explode with cheers, the proud fans declare the champion to be their absolute hero. Lying completely defeated on the canvas, the challenger slowly opens his eyes and stares blankly at the ceiling again. The wounded warrior remembers his ultimate dream of holding the shiny green championship belt to find his focus. Sensing a strange energy, the blue-haired master turns his head to see his beaten opponent slowly pushing himself up. Watching from the crowd, the young rookie wonders how the defeated athlete can still stand up in such a terrible state. The veteran coach explains that the fighter is only one single step away from becoming the champion of the world. Staring at his stubborn opponent, the champion sweatingly wonders if this crazy man is actually a toy that never falls down. With a heavy and determined step, the legendary blue shoe plants itself firmly on the canvas to continue the battle. Stomping his blue shoe on the canvas, the champion looks at his rival with newfound respect. The master speaks up and says he will praise the challenger for his absolute endurance and strong will. Glaring at the wounded beast, the champion offers him one final chance to prove his worth in the ring. Taking a firm step forward, the blue-haired champion suggests they put on an amazing show for the fans back home. Inside the ring, the atmosphere gets incredibly heavy as the master raises his legendary blue glove to fight. Watching from the sidelines, the worried coach and his young student can only stare in complete surprise. With a cold blue glow in his eyes, the superstar proudly declares that he will not take a single step back. Sweating in sheer disbelief, the silver-haired challenger wonders why his opponent is suddenly acting so reckless. Holding his face in complete frustration, the old coach complains about this stupid decision. Sighing deeply, the veteran coach explains that this is actually an incredibly bad habit of the superstar. The crowd explodes with crazy cheers because some fans love the wild fire burning inside the favorite fighter. The coach adds that the champion refuses to let anyone look down on the pride of his beloved country. The announcer yells that the champion is showing his elite boxing style to the whole world. A cool smile appears on the superstar face as he stands proudly in the middle of the ring. Watching this insane action, the young rookie gets completely stunned by the heavy pressure. Looking at his enemy, the injured challenger realizes his only chance to win is finding a lucky punch. Gritting his teeth, the silver-haired warrior decides to pour every bit of his remaining strength into one hit. A scary red aura surrounds his body because he is ready to risk his own life for the win. Sliding his shoe across the canvas, the desperate fighter lunges forward to deliver his final blow. The crowd goes completely wild as both fighters charge forward to collide in the center. A fast glove cuts through the air like a bullet to strike the opponent. A massive blue flash explodes when a heavy hit connects directly with the challenger face. Despite taking the brutal blowhead on, the stubborn warrior refuses to back down a single inch. Exhaling a soft breath, the champion looks slightly surprised by the durability of his rival. Gulping in fear, the rookie student wonders how much more punishment the challenger can take. A fierce red light burns in the warrior's eye as he swings his glove for a quick counterattack. Moving with elite speed, the blue-haired champion easily slips under the punch to strike back. A heavy blue glove smashes directly into the challenger face as he desperately grits his teeth to survive. Ducking under another wild swing, the blue-haired master easily avoids the danger without breaking a sweat. Staring in complete shock, the silver-haired fighter wonders why his best attacks cannot even touch his opponent. A rapid counterpunch strikes the challenger chin and sends his head snapping backward from the heavy impact. Looking up with a dazed expression, the wounded warrior feels sure that his dream is slowly slipping away. He believed himself to be the ultimate predator, ruling over this ring like a fierce tiger in the wild. Sudden lightning strikes as an enormous blue dragon appears to completely overshadow the terrified beast. Spitting out red saliva, the challenger struggles to even keep his mouthguard inside his swollen jaw. Charging forward with a desperate scream, the silver-haired fighter asks what kind of monster he is facing. Glaring back with absolute confidence, the superstar calmly answers that he is simply the true champion. Reaching out his hand, the beaten challenger can only dream of holding that precious champion belt. Suddenly, a fast black glove cuts through the air to deliver one final attack. However, the champion reacts instantly with an incredibly fast strike of his own. Shock fills the silver-haired warrior's eyes as a bright flash explodes right in front of his face. Landing a massive punch to the face, the blue-haired master puts his entire weight into the strike. Sent flying backward by the insane force, the defeated challenger crashes heavily onto the canvas, completely unconscious. Panting heavily, the master stares at his fallen opponent with a mixture of relief and exhaustion. Sitting in silence, the worried spectators look down in deep sadness because the match is finally over. Loud cheers fill the massive arena as the announcer declares that the superstar has successfully defended his title. Medical staff quickly rush into the ring with a stretcher to help the severely injured fighter. Glaring at the rival corner, the angry winner tells the trainer that he is not fit to be a coach. He explains that the corner should have thrown in the towel much earlier to protect the athlete career. Looking down in deep regret, the blonde man cannot find any words to defend his reckless choice. Gritting his teeth, the blonde coach admits that he was actually the one who wanted to throw the towel the most. Looking down at his beaten fighter, the trainer mentions that the boy threatened to kill him if he dared to stop the match. Walking away from the broken challenger, the champion holds his heavy green belt high, while the huge crowd screams his name. Nearby, the elder coach says that this was an amazing learning experience and suggests they all grab some dinner later. Turning around to find the winner, the old trainer gets surprised when he realizes the superstar has already vanished. Walking quietly down the back hallway, the champion ignores the stadium noise as security guards guide him to the back. Suddenly, the star looks back when he hears a familiar voice calling him master from the end of the empty corridor. Running up to his idol, the young rookie bows deeply to congratulate the legendary fighter for his amazing title defense. With wide eyes, the excited student confesses that watching the match made him way more nervous than actually fighting. Flashing a warm smile, the proud champion laughs and tells the boy that he is exaggerating way too much. Still hyped up, the rookie points out that the champion managed to win the entire battle without getting hit even once. Boasting about his perfect physical shape, the champion claims that nobody can ever catch up to him. Hesitating for a moment, the young rookie slowly opens his mouth to say something important. With clenched fists, the passionate student declares his dream of one day fighting his master in the ring. Hearing this sudden declaration, the legendary fighter looks at him in complete silence. Breaking into a loud laugh, the friendly master happily tells him to work incredibly hard. Throwing his arm around the boy, the champion mentions they are separated by 2 weight classes. Waving his hand as he walks away, the superstar suggests that the kid can take his time bulking up. Flashing a bright smile, the champion tells the rookie that he will see him at the celebratory dinner. Left completely alone in the hallway, the young athlete wonders what dinner the master is talking about. A sudden sound of clinking glasses fills the restaurant as the group celebrates the massive win. Sitting at a table full of delicious food, the happy master loudly calls it a true feast of victory. Looking at the lively crowd, the rookie happily realizes that they are all having dinner together. Raising his voice, the wearing glasses man congratulates both fighters and wishes everyone a great night. Pointing a teasing finger, the champion loudly prepares to share the rookie embarrassing secret with the team. The rookie yells out loud that he wants to face his master in the ring one day. Laughing out loud, the champion praises the kid for having the guts to speak his big dreams. Embarrassed screams and laughter echo outside the restaurant until someone calls the young fighter by his name. A man wearing glasses sits down and mentions that he wants to talk about the upcoming match for the rookie. The representative explains that the next battle will be much harder than the previous fight. Standing beside his student, the veteran coach agrees and points out that the audience size will be different. The businessman smiles and adds that his company has finally come up with an incredible plan. Sweating slightly, the young rookie wonders what kind of great idea they have prepared for him. Looking very serious, the representative reveals that they have arranged a match between Korea and Japan. Hearing the sudden announcement, the experienced coach looks worried and wonders if this decision is safe. Keeping his cool, the trainer tells his student that they will discuss all the main details later on. To help him recover, the mentor tells the boy that he is getting a full 1-week break from training. Smiling warmly, the businessman tells him to enjoy his hard-earned fight money during this well-deserved break. Hearing this, the young athlete suddenly remembers that his grandmother has a big birthday coming up soon. Since he has never gone shopping before, the boy turns to Seoyeon and asks her to go with him. Blushing deeply, the shy girl yells at him for asking such an embarrassing question in front of everyone. The friends immediately start teasing him about going on a public date, while the innocent boy looks totally confused. Taking a sip from his glass, the long-haired boxer chuckles and remarks how great it is to be young. The next day, they arrive at a massive department store, and the rookie gets incredibly excited for his first trip. Smiling brightly, the boy compliments her looks and makes her wonder if she dressed up a bit too much for this. She holds up a stylish pink scarf and explains that older ladies always love wearing these sophisticated items. The boy gasps in absolute shock when he sees a price tag of 300,000 won on the tiny scarf. He points to a much thicker scarf that only costs 30,000 won, while his friend stares at him in silence. Moving along, the rookie points happily at a massive fur coat and comments on how warm it looks. Looking closely at the tag, he gasps because the coat costs a whopping 3 million won. Moving away instantly, the boy decides that the fancy coat is definitely not worth it. Suddenly, a strange metallic sound from nearby catches his attention and directs his gaze toward some flashing screens. Pointing excitedly, the young fighter calls out to his friend, because everything over there looks so bright. Giggling warmly, the girl explains it is just a game zone while feeling like a mother taking her kid out. Running straight inside, the boy looks around in pure awe at the massive collection of gaming machines. Spotting a familiar bag hanging from the ceiling, he points to a machine that reminds him of his boxing gym. Smiling at his excitement, the girl tells him to try it, which instantly fires up his pride as a real boxer. Walking over to the machine, the teenager prepares to find some coins in his pocket to start the game. Pulling out his money, he reveals a massive stack of thick gold bills instead of normal small coins. Staring in complete disbelief, the girl freezes when she sees the huge amount of paper money in his hands. Screaming out loud, she asks why he is walking around with so much cash, and he just says he needs to pay. Realizing he has over 500,000 won, the boy quietly confesses that he just does not trust banks. A mysterious guy in a black cap watches them quietly from a distance. Since the boy has no normal coins, the pretty girl steps up to pay with her card so they can start the game. A couple of random guys stop to watch because the young fighter looks like he is in incredibly good shape. The rookie takes a professional boxing stance and raises his shoulder to prepare for the strike. With wide eyes, the excited girl cheers him on and tells him to show everyone what he can do. The curious spectators stare closely to see how hard the teenager can actually hit. Instead of throwing a single punch, the boy unleashes a lightning-fast combination of professional strikes. The crazy speed of his hands makes the onlookers spit out their drinks in absolute shock. Blushing deeply, the frustrated girl yells at him for doing a full combo instead of just one big hit. The young athlete gets totally confused because his professional gym style only resulted in the lowest score. Feeling way too embarrassed, she quickly grabs his hand and drags him away while the boy wonders what he did wrong. The boy suddenly senses a strange movement and looks down in confusion. Meanwhile, the girl keeps running forward while firmly holding onto a hand. Turning around, she gets shocked after realizing she is holding the wrong person. The suspicious man quickly strikes the rookie in the stomach to force his way out. Clutching his belly, the boy groans because that was a surprisingly heavy body blow. Blushing with embarrassment, the girl complains that he should have easily blocked the hit. Suddenly, her eyes widen in sheer horror when she notices something is missing. She spots their thick stack of money slipping away inside the stranger pocket. Pointing her finger, she loudly alerts everyone about the pickpocket as the thief dashes away. The criminal smugly smiles because he believes he is already far too fast for them. Suddenly, a cold voice speaks right in his ear and he gasps when the girl easily catches up. Running close behind the protagonist, politely begs the criminal to return his hard-earned money. Shouting in frustration, she tells her friend to stop being so polite to a robber. Loud sirens soon echo through the area as the police arrive to resolve the situation. Standing side by side, the two friends watch as the officers arrest the sweating thief. Shivering from the wild chase, the country boy mutters that living in the big city is honestly way too scary. Crossing her arms, the helpful girl reminds him that they still have not picked out the main birthday present. Rubbing his chin in deep thought, the young athlete rejects her previous ideas while trying to find a better option. Grinning widely, the teenager suddenly hits his hand and proudly announces that he finally knows what to buy. After making his final choice, the store clerk tells him the bill comes out to exactly 200,000 won. Walking out of the shop, the young champion shows off a massive pink bundle containing a warm cotton blanket. Staring in complete shock, the surprised girl asks how he can easily balance such a heavy load right on his head. While looking very confused, she wonders why he decided to buy her a giant blanket instead of something fancy. With a gentle smile, the boy explains that his grandmother's old blanket is completely ruined and needs a replacement. Hearing his sweet explanation, the young girl stands completely frozen and feels her heart melt from his kindness. Blushing red, she quickly agrees that it is an amazing choice and praises him for being such a caring grandson. Looking closely at her sweet face, the clueless rookie silently thinks that she looks incredibly pretty when she smiles. By the end of the day, the helpful teenager successfully teaches him how to use cards and mail packages to his home. Sometime later, the rookie finally arrives back at his old countryside home to deliver the giant package in person. Entering the room, the boy sadly begs his grandmother to look at him since she is currently ignoring his presence. Lying quietly with her back turned, the old grandmother refuses to look at the boy. Looking down, the young rookie feels sad because she still refuses to look at him despite the nice gift. Letting out a heavy sigh, the teenager decides it is time for him to leave. Slipping away from her room, the young champion quietly prepares for his journey back to the city. Walking out of the house, the boy heads toward the exit while his silent relative remains on the floor. Tears slowly stream down her face as the old lady listens to the sound of her grandson leaving. Stepping outside, the boy meets a friendly neighbor who wonders if he is already leaving. Looking worried, the old man tells the teenager to at least eat a warm meal before starting his long trip. With a bright smile, the rookie declines the offer because he needs to cut weight for his next match. Waving goodbye, the happy boy tells his neighbor to stay safe and not to walk too far. Walking down the quiet country road, the young fighter begins his journey back to the gym. Returning to the house, the neighbor gently scolds her for not cooking a warm meal for the boy. Shivering on the floor, the crying woman explains that seeing his bruised face would make her cry in front of him. Sobbing heavily, the poor grandmother wonders what kind of guardian cannot even cheer for her own grandson. Standing in absolute silence, the neighbor can only look down with a sad expression on his face. With his next match only 1 month away, news articles start highlighting that his opponent is a famous Japanese fighter. Fans are incredibly excited because both of these athletes share the exact same nickname of the smiling boxer. The coach decides to show him some video footage of the dangerous challenger named Yamamoto Ryuji. In the recording, the Japanese athlete easily dodges a strike before landing a powerful counter on his target. After landing the hit, he immediately raises his hands to taunt the other guy with a goofy expression. Watching the video on a smartphone, the young rookie cannot believe how wild this fighter behaves inside the ring. The boy points at the screen and wonders if behaving like that is actually allowed during a professional match. Smiling warmly, the wise trainer explains that showmanship is completely fine as long as the referee does not step in. Although his opponent is highly disrespectful, the rookie silently thinks that the guy looks incredibly free. Seeing the strange movements, the teenager feels like the rival is actually dancing instead of just boxing. Excited to prepare for the big event, the young fighter tells his coach that he is leaving for a quick outdoor run. Before heading out of the gym, he gets stopped by his friends, who happily mention seeing the news about the match. They are surprised that he is fighting again so soon, while his salty rival quietly wishes for his complete defeat. His buddy asks if he is okay fighting a Japanese opponent while the salty rival hopes this match stresses him out. The clueless champion feels completely confused by their worries because he does not understand the pressure. Heading outside under the bright blue sky, the young athlete starts his daily run to keep his body in perfect shape. Sprinting under a large concrete bridge, the boy maintains a steady pace to build up his stamina. While jogging along the path, he wonders why his friends think he should be feeling so stressed about this fight. An older gentleman suddenly spots the runner and points him out to a buddy after recognizing him from a recent match. The friendly stranger praises his fiery fighting style and wishes he were 20 years younger to do the same. Blushing from all the sudden attention, the polite teenager bows and thanks them for their incredibly kind words. The old fan happily reminds him of the upcoming international match and tells him that he must win. He even claims that losing to their rivals in anything is totally unacceptable, which leaves the boy speechless. Continuing his run through the city streets, the rookie leaves some nearby students completely stunned by his speed. Suddenly, two excited high school students run up to the young athlete after recognizing him from the sports news. The boys immediately ask for an autograph and a quick photo with their favorite rising star. They loudly encourage him to totally smash his next rival and promise to watch the entire match. Hearing their passionate words, the rookie realizes just how many people are rooting for his success. His phone suddenly starts vibrating in his pocket and interrupts their fun conversation. Answering the call, the boy gets surprised when a group of familiar voices shouts through the speaker. It turns out his old neighbors from the countryside also saw the news and are calling to cheer him on. Smiling brightly, the young champion politely tells them that he will call back after talking with his fans. The polite teenager hangs up the phone and apologizes to the students for the brief delay. He happily poses with the boys so they can take the perfect picture together. Running away with pure joy, the students wish him luck and tell him to show off his country's strength. A warm smile appears on his face as he watches them leave while feeling more motivated than ever. Meanwhile, somewhere inside a dark gym, we see a sweaty foot stepping onto the hard wooden floor. Sitting inside a hot sauna, the sweating protagonist suddenly feels a strange tightness right inside his chest. Even though he is extremely grateful for all the support, the pressure from everyone is starting to feel incredibly heavy. While his energetic opponent looks completely relaxed, the young rookie cannot shake off this uncomfortable feeling. 1 month quickly passes by and the arena is packed with excited fans waiting for the massive international showdown. Passionate supporters scream from the crowd to remind him that he is not fighting this tough battle all by himself. Flashing a gentle smile, the talented teenager prepares himself to face the challenger who just entered the arena. Stepping onto the canvas, the champion looks up and instantly locks eyes with his dangerous opponent. The Japanese fighter looks incredibly muscular and carries a deadly expression that is completely different from before. Staring at the rival, the shocked protagonist wonders if this scary boxer was always carrying such a serious vibe. Standing in silence, the coach and the girl watch the match begin with immense tension. The young rookie throws a slow jab, and his opponent quickly blocks it before trying to return a light strike. Both boxers then stand completely still, as if they are suddenly frozen inside the ring. Spectators wonder why both fighters look so incredibly stiff during this first round. An angry supporter screams for the protagonist to wake up and show his true strength. Shouting from the stands, the crowd notices that neither athlete is performing like their usual self. Even the commentators point out that both fighters look completely different from their past performances. The teenager realizes his rival feels totally different from the dancing boxer he saw in the video. Looking extremely serious, the Japanese champion silently complains that his body feels way too heavy. Shouting from the corner, the wise trainer desperately tells his student to relax and move. The worried girl frantically asks why their friend is moving so slowly inside the ring. The experienced coach understands that the pressure of the entire country is weighing heavily on the boy's heart. The coach knows that even a mentally strong rookie feels massive pressure when representing his entire nation. Instead of feeling motivated by the loud fans, the young hero only feels a heavy weight on his shoulders. Watching from the corner, the worried girl desperately searches for a way to help him relax during the upcoming break. The loud bell finally rings to signal the official end of this quiet first round. Returning to his corner, the sweaty teenager has not landed a single clean hit on his opponent yet. Across the ring, the Japanese challenger also heads back to his team looking incredibly serious. Sitting down, the rookie admits that his body feels completely strange and he could not use any of his training. The trainer hands him a water bottle and advises him to take some deep breaths to calm his nerves. Suddenly, the young girl steps forward and loudly calls the rookie by his name to get his attention. She angrily lectures him about freezing up, as if he is carrying the weight of the entire country by himself. The boy tries to explain his extreme nervousness, but his fiery friend refuses to hear any of his excuses. In a sudden move, she grabs both of his cheeks and violently pulls them to make him look funny. She points out that he has not smiled once today and reminds him that boxing should be fun for him. Standing in silence, the young champion rubs his red cheeks and wonders if she really had to pull them so hard. Walking back, the energetic girl loudly screams for him to just box like normal and forget about carrying the whole crowd. Hearing her blunt advice, the teenager feels a sudden spark in his heart as the heavy burden finally disappears. The girl apologizes to the trainer for taking up his precious time, but the old man smiles and praises her great speech. Showing a small grin, the protagonist realizes he is definitely not the type of person to carry so much pressure. Looking across the ring, he notices his opponent and thinks they should both stop giving the crowd a boring fight. Raising his big red boxing gloves, the boy tells himself to simply fight the same way he always does. In an instant, a massive genuine smile appears on his face and lights up the entire quiet arena. The surprised rival looks totally confused by the sudden grin, but he also smiles back with a wild expression. Meeting in the center of the ring, they friendly tap their gloves together to show their mutual respect. As round 2 officially begins, the rival starts dancing on his feet with incredibly quick movements. The Japanese challenger launches a lightning-fast strike that catches the young protagonist off guard. Widening his eyes in complete shock, the rookie realizes his rival moves much faster than before. Determined to match that speed, the boy instantly prepares to throw his own powerful counter. He notices that his opponent tilted too far while dodging, which leaves the dangerous fighter off balance. Believing this is his perfect chance, the main character unleashes a straight punch right at the target. To his absolute surprise, the challenger somehow bends his spine backward to avoid the incoming fist. The teenager wonders how anyone can possibly possess such an incredibly flexible body inside the ring. Shaking his head, the protagonist tells himself to stay focused and keep pressing forward. Both fighters suddenly engage in a wild sequence of trading extremely quick blows back and forth. The entire stadium erupts with loud cheers as the fans enjoy this legendary showdown. The announcer shouts that both athletes look much looser now that they entered the second round. Watching his opponent bounce around, the rookie feels like the rival is back to his usual style of dancing. Suddenly, the opponent throws a lightning-fast punch that lands directly on the boy's face. The protagonist realizes he was totally mesmerized by the strange rhythm of his opponent. With a confident grin on his face, the rival launches another heavy blow that connects perfectly. Moving with incredible speed, the Japanese fighter uses his quick footwork to completely dominate the ring. He easily slips past the defense and unleashes a massive hook that almost takes the rookie down. The rival feels incredibly proud because his rhythm and flow are working perfectly against his target. But his confidence quickly fades when he notices something very strange about his opponent. Our hero starts bouncing lightly on his feet with a massive smile on his face. The boy excitedly tells himself that it is finally time to use everything he learned during training. This sudden change in attitude leaves the Japanese fighter feeling completely confused and unsure of his next move. The story goes back 2 months in time when headphones are suddenly placed on the ears of the young boxer. The wise coach explains that all of his future training sessions must now be done with music playing. Smiling happily, his female friend reveals that she picked every single track to mix different speeds and tempos. Closing his eyes, the old trainer mentions that they are also adding another daily routine to his heavy schedule. He orders the boy to show up at a special location every single morning at exactly 9 o'clock. Loud music starts blasting from massive speakers as a tired guy with a red headband prepares for the class. The protagonist joins a large group of people who are doing boxing movements inside a bright dance studio. Sweating heavily, the group members throw punches in perfect sync with the loud beat of the song. The energetic female instructor yells for everyone to keep their guard up and maintain their high energy. Punching forward, the main character quickly realizes that this unique exercise is much harder than it actually looks. Another month quickly passes by as the training continues to get much more intense for the young champion. Back at the gym, the old coach tells the girl to turn on the music so they can start the next drill. With a quick click of her hand, the helpful girl starts playing the song to kick off their session. The mentor instructs his student to hit the mitts in perfect rhythm, starting with a very slow tempo first. Bouncing on the floor, the boy easily moves his feet to the rhythm of the track like a natural dancer. Moving to the beat of the song, the young champion throws a perfectly timed punch right at the target. Slipping under a simulated attack, he easily prepares his next strike while keeping up with the light music. Watching his student carefully, the old coach keeps a close eye on his form to see if he is finally getting the hang of it. Looking very pleased with the great start, the trainer suddenly commands him to switch over to a much faster tempo. As the sound system blasts a wild song, the determined rookie focuses his gaze and prepares to accelerate. Instantly unleashing a rapid flurry of strikes, the boy moves so quickly that his hands become a complete blur. After stopping the music, the mentor praises the teenager for successfully learning how to control his own tempo. The wise old man explains that simply swinging with all his power will never be enough to win a tough fight. He adds that their upcoming opponent is a complete master of controlling the pace, so they must find a way to counter it. Hoping to test this new strategy, the main character steps forward and launches a clean punch at the leather mitt. Without even sweating, the experienced mentor easily slips past the fist to show how a true master defends himself. The old trainer stops right next to his face and tells him that he needs to physically feel the flow of the battle. Pointing at a screen, he reveals that their dangerous rival also possesses a very fixed and dangerous personal rhythm. Even though the opponent looks incredibly free and relaxed inside the ring, his movements still follow a specific beat. Clenching his fist, the coach declares that their primary goal in the match is to completely destroy that steady pattern. The Japanese challenger feels his tension rising and decides that only one of them can win this matchup. Moving forward with great speed, the dancer throws a quick punch to start his offense. He decides to target the middle and unleashes a heavy blow right to the body of our hero. The dangerous challenger believes his target completely fell for a very smart bait. Looking completely shocked, the young rookie stares at his rival with wide eyes. Feeling highly confident, the green fighter prepares to launch his ultimate follow-up strike. Moving like a ghost, the main character easily sways his upper body backward to dodge. This sudden evasion leaves the challenger completely confused as he wonders why his rival did not step inside. Exploiting the opening, our hero unleashes a lightning-fast counter-punch that lands perfectly. Taking the heavy blow, the Japanese fighter realizes his opponent was actually 2 moves ahead of him. Refusing to back down, the Japanese challenger quickly plants his foot to regain his balance. Determined to fight back, he runs forward because he cannot just stand there and let his opponent dominate. Focusing his gaze, the aggressive fighter aims another powerful strike directly at the young champion. Using his falling momentum, Ryuji unleashes a pinpoint liver shot that lands with massive force. Smiling confidently, the challenger believes this heavy blow will completely stop his opponent from moving. To his absolute surprise, the rookie immediately strikes back with a heavy punch of his own. The stunned challenger wonders how the boy could possibly withstand such a painful blow and still counter. Even though the pain is intense, the main character tells himself that he must keep moving no matter what. Staring intensely at his target, the young athlete resolves to never let his rival take control of the pace. Launching a rapid attack, our hero drives his red glove straight into the guard of his opponent. Before the rival can even react, the fast teenager lands another clean punch right on the target. Moving with incredible speed, the rookie easily slips past a counter and fires back with a sharp hook. Another powerful fist connects perfectly with the face of the challenger, who is slowly losing his ground. Watching from the side, the excited girl tells the coach that Gang-chan has completely taken over the momentum. The proud mentor agrees and explains that keeping a slightly faster tempo will easily guarantee their victory. The challenger gets pushed back onto the ropes, and our hero sees a massive chance to end this battle. Launching a heavy punch, the protagonist tries to finish his opponent, who quickly reacts to the incoming threat. Moving like a ghost, the dancer manages to slip every single punch with impossible flexibility. He deliberately leans his entire body weight back to stretch the elastic ropes to their absolute limit. Using the tension like a slingshot, the clever rival launches a devastating counterpunch right to the face. Stunned by the impact, the young rookie realizes his opponent just used a dangerous defensive tactic to trick him. Losing his balance, the main character crashes down onto the canvas while staring up in complete disbelief. Watching from the corner, his helper gasps as she realizes the situation has suddenly turned extremely bad. The referee quickly steps in and begins the official count, calling out 1 and then 2 as the boy lies there. From the edge of the ring, the worried old coach screams for his student to snap out of it and stand back up. Standing up quickly, the brave teenager raises his guard and insists he can still fight. The referee carefully checks his condition and decides that the young champion is safe to continue. With a loud shout, the official waves his arms to signal that the intense match is officially back on. Stepping forward cautiously, the protagonist keeps his guard high to prevent another dangerous surprise attack. Suddenly, the Japanese fighter moves in and launches a lightning-fast punch that lands heavily on his target. The brutal impact of the hit forces our hero to realize that his body is starting to reach its absolute limit. Noticing a delay in his opponent's movements, the confident rival grins and prepares to end this fight right now. He slips under the weak strike and delivers a devastating punch directly to the side of the boy's face. Knowing he cannot survive many more of these massive hits, the rookie decides he has to risk everything on a counter. Both warriors unleash their ultimate strikes at the exact same moment with pure desperation in their eyes. The stadium goes silent as their heavy fists collide in a brutal trade of power that shakes the entire ring. To everyone's shock, the Japanese dancer loses his stable balance and his feet slide heavily across the canvas. Panting heavily, the exhausted protagonist glares at his opponent while trying to catch his breath for the final stretch. The protagonist bounces on his feet to stay active inside the ring. Meanwhile, the rival coach shouts to his exhausted fighter that both of them have taken tons of damage. Looking closely at his opponent, the young champion notices that the enemy has finally slowed down. Knowing that hit-and-run tactics will no longer work, our hero raises his gloves high to defend. He decides to use a classic peek-a-boo style to finally end this intense matchup. Watching from the side, the worried girl wonders if the rookie can actually pull off this legendary stance. The wise mentor explains that working in the countryside gave the boy incredibly powerful neck muscles. He adds that while the rookie can take heavy punches, he still lacks a single knockout blow. The old trainer declares that the strategy is to absorb one hit and quickly return two in exchange. Bobbing and weaving with perfect control, the teenager easily slips past a punch to get inside the defense. The proud mentor watches happily as his student successfully starts his ultimate close-range offense. Slipping underneath the high swing, the protagonist easily dodges the massive green glove. The aggressive rival commits fully to his attack but only hits the empty air. Keeping his guard extremely tight, the young rookie stares directly through his red gloves. Sweat drips down the face of the challenger as he realizes there is absolutely no opening to exploit. Taking full advantage of the split-second hesitation, our hero unleashes a fast combination of strikes. Gritting his teeth, the furious rival fires back with a massive punch that lands directly on the target. The opponent looks completely stunned when the young rookie absorbs the heavy strike without even flinching. Relying on his strong neck muscles, the brave teenager blocks the incoming fist with his tight guard. Desperate to break the defense, the Japanese boxer throws a rapid storm of blows against the human shield. Finding the perfect moment, our hero fires a devastating counterpunch that smashes right into his cheek. The impact is so brutal that the rival vision begins to blur as he tries to stay conscious. Trying to recover his balance, the desperate dancer swings wild, but his opponent easily tracks the motion. Our hero swings his red glove and lands a massive strike right on the face of his opponent. The dazed challenger stares with wide eyes as his head shakes from the sheer power of the hit. Planting his feet firmly on the canvas, the tough rival refuses to go down and prepares to defend his spot. Smiling wickedly, the Japanese fighter challenges the rookie to step inside his favorite defensive territory. Expecting another heavy swing, the opponent is shocked when the red glove suddenly stops right in front of his face. The old coach wonders how anyone can possibly land a clean hit on a fighter who is so good at using the ropes. When an athlete uses the elastic ropes for movement, they have too many different directions to escape, but placing a strong lead hand in front of them can completely block all of their escape routes. Moving like a genius, the young rookie stretches his hand forward to trap his opponent in place. With the target pinned down, the brave protagonist unleashes a massive punch directly to the face. Both warriors stare deeply into each other's eyes as the final moments of this crazy matchup begin. Sweating under the pressure, the protagonist launches a devastating combination of punches directly at his opponent. The final strike lands with massive force right against the ribs of the challenger, who cannot even breathe. Losing his footing completely, the Japanese fighter crashes down onto the canvas as the crowd goes wild. Staring at his fallen rival, the exhausted protagonist gasps for air while trying to process his victory. A sudden memory flashes back to the time when the challenger used to run with a dangerous biker gang in Osaka. Back then, the wild teenager believed that his strong body and his motorcycle were the only things he possessed. His worried mother had to constantly bail him out of the local police station after his reckless street fights. Seeing his behavior, an older neighbor shouts at the youngster and demands that he starts treating his mother right. Instead of listening, the angry boy shouts back while his exhausted parent begs him to finally get a normal job. The mother talks about his late father, but the angry teenager just shouts back in pure frustration. Suddenly, the poor woman collapses on the cold pavement right in front of her shocked son. At the hospital, the doctor reveals that her kidneys are failing because of extreme overwork and lack of food. Hearing that she got sick just from raising him, the young rebel feels an overwhelming sense of guilt. Determined to fix his mistakes, the teenager begins working multiple manual labor jobs all day long. Even after taking extra shifts as a waiter, he realizes the tiny salary cannot cover the massive medical bills. Standing alone on the quiet street, he wonders how his parents survived such painful struggles for years. After spotting a combat sports poster on the wall, the boy decides to become a champion to save her life. Seeing her beloved son working so hard inside the ring brings a bright smile back to the sick lady face. Feeling a bit embarrassed, the young challenger rubs his neck as a friend asks why he always looks so angry. Smiling brightly, the boy yells that he absolutely loves the sport, which makes his close companion laugh with joy. Walking down the street, the teenager gets stopped by an excited neighbor who tells him to win his next big match. Although the warm support of his local community makes him happy, the youngster begins to feel an immense pressure. After arriving in Korea for the event, the heavy expectations of his nation make him forget his original passion. Looking across the ring, he gets surprised when the friendly opponent smiles and warmly greets him before the fight. That simple gesture reminds the fighter of his sick mother, who always wanted to see him smile inside the ring. The protagonist smiles softly while wondering about the real reason why this opponent chose to enter the ring. Staring up at the bright lights, the defeated challenger accepts his loss with a peaceful smile on his face. Rubbing his aching head, the tired fighter tries to gather his thoughts after taking so many heavy punches. Showing great sportsmanship, our hero steps closer to ask if the fallen challenger is feeling all right. Extending his red glove, the young champion offers to pull his rival up as they share a respectful handshake. The Japanese boxer hesitates for a second as he tries to remember some words to express his deep gratitude. Standing tall, the grateful athlete speaks in his native language to thank our hero for the incredible match. This sudden show of respect catches the protagonist off guard and warms his heart after such a brutal battle. Smiling brightly, the rival happily thanks him in both languages while showing his genuine appreciation. The entire stadium erupts in massive cheers, celebrating both warriors for delivering such an unforgettable show. The curious girl asks if the teenager prepared his speech assuming a win, but the rookie says he would do it anyway. Staring at his retreating figure, the young lady notices how surprisingly broad his back has become after the intense battle. Soon a plane takes off and flies back to Japan, where the defeated challenger finally lands at the local international airport. While walking through the terminal with a bruised face, the tired fighter suddenly hears someone calling out his name. Turning around, he spots his mother standing in the crowd while holding a lovely sign to welcome her champion back home. Rubbing his neck, the young man awkwardly admits his defeat, but his parent replies that she watched the entire matchup. With a warm smile, she tells him that this was easily the coolest and most honorable fight he has ever performed. Overcome with emotion, the proud mother hugs her son tightly and praises him for working so incredibly hard. Tears begin to stream down his face as the emotional teenager hugs her back while crying out a deep apology to his mother. Back at the boxing gym, someone suddenly calls out the protagonist's name from across the room. Stopping his workout, the surprised teenager looks around to see who is calling him. His gym friends quickly run up to him with a worried look on their faces. Seeing their weird reaction, our hero asks why they are suddenly acting so nervous. They show him a video of a creepy guy talking about his recent boxing matches. The rookie eyes widen in pure shock as he recognizes the voice of his old enemy. This wicked red-haired bully mockingly asks if his poor grandmother is still doing well. Extreme anger fills the teenager face as memories of his painful past come rushing back. Later, we see a massive office building where a serious conversation is taking place. The manager explains that the involvement of a major star will cause a massive problem. Feeling guilty about keeping secrets, the rookie apologizes, but the boss tells him not to worry. He adds that the rival camp is not planning to leak the dark secrets of his past. Instead, they are using a live stream to talk trash about his skills and his beloved family. The manager realizes the opponent wants to create massive drama just to sell more tickets. Hearing this, the wise old coach steps in and declares he is completely against this match. The wise trainer argues that a match filled with pure hatred ceases to be a proper sport and becomes a dangerous brawl. Analyzing the situation, the glasses guy explains that this opponent is actually quite weak and easy to defeat. But the veteran trainer feels concerned because our hero is still completely exhausted from his previous brutal battle. Pointing out the financial risks, the boss explains that running away from this challenge will destroy their reputation. Falling into deep silence, the experienced old mentor closes his eyes and ponders the heavy dilemma. Looking up from his thoughts, the coach finally asks his young student what he wants to do about this situation. Stuttering nervously, the rookie boxer struggles to find the right words to describe his conflicted feelings. Suddenly, a loud ringtone from a black mobile phone breaks the heavy tension inside the quiet office room. Apologizing for the sudden interruption, the manager politely gestures for the teenager to answer the call. Answering the call, the boy explains that he is currently busy, but gets surprised when he hears the local chief. Speaking with a trembling voice, the nervous old man calls out the protagonist's name with heavy hesitation. Hearing the grim tone of the speaker, the young athlete freezes in place as his face turns completely pale. His mind immediately drifts back to Sunshine Village, where all the friendly elderly neighbors always lived. Since he was a massive troublemaker as a child, those kind people constantly watched over him like family. They even organized schedules to take turns babysitting him and kept him safe during his wild childhood days. The babysitting duties were so exhausting that the poor neighbors would end up completely wiped out on the grass. One of those kind souls was Grandma Kim, who always fed the hungry little boy with fresh organic meals from her farm. Another neighbor named Grandpa Park was a very smart man who gladly taught him the alphabet when he started talking. Then there was Grandma Younghee, who possessed amazing sewing skills and always made custom clothes for his growing body. Even the chief himself would run behind the little kid to make sure he did not fall off his very first bicycle. But a deep sadness fills the room today because the sweet grandma who made him clothes has just passed away. At the funeral home, an elderly lady serves food while thanking the old coach for traveling so far to show his respect. Looking around the venue, the veteran coach asks why the young athlete is acting as the main host for the funeral. The lady explains that the deceased grandma had no children of her own, so she doted on our hero like a real son. An unknown person hands over a mysterious white envelope and asks for it to be delivered directly to the young champion. Walking down the hallway, the experienced old mentor looks down at the letter with a very serious expression. Standing out in the pouring rain, he decides that he cannot give this letter to the boy during such a stressful time. Back at the local boxing gym, the trainer warns the teenager that entering a fight with too much emotion can ruin his focus. Looking his coach straight in the eyes, the determined rookie confidently replies that he can easily win the upcoming match. The mentor admits that his student has more talent than the opponent, who only has 1 win and 3 losses on his record. He explains that the rival is a dirty fighter, who even got disqualified once for headbutting his opponent inside the ring. The wise veteran advises our hero to just train normally and keep his mind completely clear before the big fight begins. Staring back with a sharp gaze, the young athlete nods and promises to follow the instructions of his beloved teacher. When the official weigh-in day finally arrives, the protagonist heads to the arena to get ready for the formal procedure. Taking off his shirt, the young boxer reveals a very muscular and lean body that he built through months of intense training. Stepping onto the official scale, the impressive physique of the rookie causes the gathered crowd to whisper in total shock. Looking closely at the boy, the worried companion notices that his body looks totally different now. She wonders why the youngster kept this a secret, since losing weight for the match must have been incredibly hard. The coach realizes the teenager hid his growth because he wanted this match more than anything else in the world. Suddenly, a loud mocking voice calls out his old nickname from across the locker room. The red-haired bully smirks while asking a nasty question about the boy's beloved grandmother. Walking closer, the smug opponent remarks how much the young fighter grew since their very first meeting. He continues to mock the protagonist by asking if his elderly family member forgot to feed him. Hearing the insults, the silent protagonist simply looks away with a very calm expression. The wicked bully then mentions the tragic news about the sweet old lady who recently passed away. Bursting into evil laughter, the rude challenger mocks the kid for having no parents to raise him. Instead of getting angry, the young hero calmly says thank you to the smiling troublemaker. He explains that he is truly grateful that this terrible rival decided to face him first. With a terrifying look, the boy warns his rival that nobody can save him once they enter the boxing ring. When the next day finally arrives, we see a powerful punch landing during the official training session. Standing under the bright spotlight, both fighters prepare to settle their deep grudge inside the ring. The crowd screams loudly for our hero and begs him to absolutely destroy his opponent. Pointing his finger down, the referee officially starts the match and tells them to fight. Smirking wickedly, the red-haired bully wonders how he should easily beat up the protagonist. Stepping forward with a cocky grin, the rival tries to initiate the attack with a quick jab. Suddenly, a massive red glove slams directly into his face before he can even react. The crowd goes wild as our hero shows a completely serious face without any of his usual smiles. Moving with incredible speed, the teenager easily dodges and prepares his next devastating move. Sweating profusely, the stunned opponent struggles to keep his eyes on the incredibly fast rookie. Another powerful blow connects right on the chin of the bully, sending his head flying back. Pressing forward relentlessly, our hero unleashes a storm of non-stop punches without showing any mercy. Desperately blocking the massive barrage, the rival can only cover his face while taking heavy damage. Winding up his arm with extreme force, the protagonist prepares to launch one final brutal strike. A terrifying body shot digs deep into the opponent's ribs and completely shatters his guard. Gasping for air, the bully's eyes widen in pure shock as he realizes he cannot withstand this power. Dropping heavily to the floor, the defeated rival clutches his stomach while screaming in absolute pain. The referee quickly steps in and stops the match because the opponent is down on the floor. Getting back up on his feet, the angry rival glares at our hero while planning a dirty trick. Looking at the fight, the old coach notes that the youngster is too emotional and is wasting his energy. As soon as the referee restarts the action, our hero charges forward with another fast attack. The red-haired bully tries to swing back with a big punch, but the rookie easily dodges the strike. Feeling surprised by the close call, the teenager gets caught when the sneaky opponent grabs him. Using an illegal trick, the wicked bully steps on his foot so the protagonist cannot move away. Seeing this dangerous situation, the worried mentor screams for his student to stay calm and relax. The referee quickly jumps between them and yells for both fighters to separate immediately. With a sneaky look, the red-haired bully throws a quick strike before the referee can even pull them apart. This illegal move catches the young protagonist off guard and leaves him completely stunned. Pointing his finger, the angry referee warns the cheater that he cannot throw punches during a clinch. The smug opponent raises his hands and pretends that he did not mean to make that dirty mistake. Getting back into their positions, the referee officially tells them to continue the match. Charging forward with pure anger, the dark-haired teenager throws a powerful punch that lands directly on the rival face. Even though the blow is heavy, the cheater smiles because he feels the boy hits are getting weaker. The red-haired fighter immediately hugs our hero again to stop him from using his incredible speed. Glaring with deep irritation, the protagonist tells his annoying opponent to stop sticking so close. Suddenly, a massive swing cuts through the air as the cheap fighter tries to land another surprise attack. Shock fills our hero as he realizes his opponent is actually throwing a dirty elbow strike right at his face. The wicked red-haired bully smirks with extreme malice while wishing for the total destruction of the protagonist. A brutal headbutt suddenly lands directly on the forehead of the young athlete with a terrible crashing sound. Stumbling backward, the dizzy teenager struggles to keep his balance while holding his severely injured head. Fortunately, the loud sound of the bell rings to signal the official end of this incredibly chaotic round. The angry referee quickly steps in and yells that he saw the illegal headbutt, which could lead to a disqualification. Rushing to the corner, the worried coach freezes when he sees a deep, bloody cut dripping down the boy's face. Seeing the heavy damage, the referee declares that the match must end because the injury is simply too dangerous. Grabbing the official, the bleeding rookie begs him not to stop the fight because he wants to finish this match. Hearing his strong determination, the referee allows the action to go on as the bell rings for the next round. Walking back into the ring, the injured teenager looks extremely determined to win this fight. The coach worries because the blood is already entering the boy's eye and ruining his vision. With a loud step, the young athlete moves forward to start the next round of this crazy match. Our hero quickly throws a fast punch, but the red-haired rival easily dodges the attack. Squinting through the blood, the teenager struggles to keep his focus on the moving target. Seizing the chance, the dirty fighter lands a clean punch directly on the rookie face. The brutal assault continues as the opponent unleashes another strike on our struggling hero. Trying to strike back, the young boxer misses his target because his sight is getting worse. Seeing his opponent struggle, the wicked rival smiles since he knows he has the upper hand now. The protagonist realizes in shock that he can no longer measure the distance between them. The smug challenger grins widely because he can easily tell that the boy cannot see properly. Without wasting any time, the red-haired bully throws a powerful hook to finish the match. A sharp blow grazes the teenager forehead and causes even more blood to spray across the ring. The red-haired rival throws another fast punch and sends our hero crashing down to the canvas. Blood drips from the fresh cut on his face as his vision goes completely blurry and dark. The teenager suddenly gasps in shock when he notices his beloved mentor standing right inside the ring. The dazed rookie wonders why his coach is there until he finally realizes they just lost the match. The wicked rival laughs loudly and mocks the boy by saying he almost ended up in a coffin like his granny. The smug bully adds another terrible insult by comparing the boy's bloody forehead to his deceased family member. Glaring with pure rage, the old teacher calls him a cheap cheater and warns him to leave before things get ugly. The red-haired bully simply laughs it off and walks away while calling both of them way too emotional. The smug bully laughs and mocks the boy one last time before walking away with his prize money. Back in the locker room, a loud bang echoes as the frustrated teenager punches a metal locker with all his might. The old coach immediately yells at his student and demands to know what he is doing. Looking down with tears of frustration, the young fighter softly apologizes to his mentor. Seeing his student so heartbroken, the gray-haired trainer lets out a long and deep sigh. Gently reaching out, the older man hands over an unexpected letter left by the boy's late grandmother. Stunned by the envelope, the protagonist slowly unfolds the paper to read his grandmother's final message. Tears well up as he reads that the doctors did not give her much time left to live. The sweet elderly woman wrote that she lived a happy life with only one regret on her mind. She always knew how much her grandson loved the sport of boxing because his passion inspired her. To support him, she would secretly stitch up his old punching bags before they could break apart. She even cleared out all the wild grass around his outdoor training area just to help him succeed. Her letter explains how seeing him fight made her incredibly proud of his dedication. The sweet grandmother added that she became his first real fan and only regretted not seeing him become a champion. She promised to watch over him from above and begged her beloved grandson to stay strong and keep moving forward. Folding the emotional note, the young fighter listens as his coach warns that getting too emotional ruins his dream. Tears pour down his face as the rookie realizes that he has not gotten any stronger since starting his journey. Sometime later, a manager inside a large office building notes that this sudden defeat was completely unexpected. Sitting across the desk, the stern mentor demands an immediate rematch with the dirty red-haired fighter. The suit agrees, but says they must offer 3 times the original money to convince the cheating opponent. The older man agrees to pay the huge sum himself since greedy trash always follows the scent of cash. Turning to his student, the coach delivers a shocking warning that another defeat will lead to his instant expulsion. Glaring deeply, the veteran trainer asserts that he has never raised a student who loses twice to complete garbage. Nodding slowly, the determined boy tells his coach that he understands the dangerous stakes of this fight. 3 months pass quickly while the company sets up the massive rematch to save the young athlete popularity. Standing inside the locker room, the protagonist prepares his body while his supporters watch him with hope. Turning his head, the silent boxer tries to focus his mind on the upcoming battle. Suddenly, a familiar voice calls out his name from the doorway and catches his attention. Looking toward the hallway, the teenager wonders if he is dreaming when he spots his sweet grandmother. Running forward with absolute joy, the elderly woman happily embraces her beloved grandson once again. Smiling warmly, she promises that she will always be there to cheer for him from this moment on. Squeezing his cheeks, the playful lady complains that his long, messy hair is completely blocking his sight. Gently sweeping his dark bangs away, she carefully fixes his style so he can see everything clearly. Looking at her work with pride, the sweet grandmother declares that he is finally ready to enter the ring. Deeply moved by her loving gesture, the emotional rookie pulls her into a tight hug. Whispering his gratitude, the teenager thanks her for giving him the strength to face his fears. Bright spotlights illuminate the massive arena as the long-awaited rematch is officially announced. Standing opposite his red-haired rival, our hero prepares to settle the score as the battle begins. The red-haired rival smirks and mocks our hero by asking if he really expects a different result this time. The smug bully wonders exactly how the rookie plans on getting beaten up in their rematch today. Looking incredibly calm, the dark-haired teenager shows absolutely no fear as he stares back at his opponent. The referee screams for the action to begin while the aggressive rival continues to throw trash talk. Clenching his red boxing glove, the protagonist steps forward to start the first exchange of the match. With incredible speed, our hero lands a clean punch directly on the cheek of the trash-talking rival. Following up with another quick jab, the young boxer easily bypasses the guard of his surprised opponent. The protagonist realizes that his vision is perfect now, and his movements feel smoother than ever before. He unleashes a rapid combination of strikes that leaves the arrogant bully completely overwhelmed and confused. Grinding his teeth in pure frustration, the red-haired cheater realizes that he is in serious trouble. To stop the brutal assault, the bully lunges forward to force another cheap clinch and stop the kid's speed. Anticipating the dirty move, the calm rookie easily slips under the grab and dodges the desperate opponent. Watching from the crowd, a girl gasps in shock as she recognizes the incredible dodging technique our hero is using. The red-haired bully looks completely confused when his target suddenly vanishes right before his eyes. Seizing the opening, the rookie unleashes a flurry of lightning fast strikes that completely overwhelm the cheat. A massive punch lands directly on the rival chest and sends a powerful shockwave through his entire body. The dirty boxer drops to his knees as the referee immediately declares a knockdown and the crowd goes absolutely wild. Standing quietly among the cheering spectators, a mysterious man in a white cap watches the intense battle unfold. Looking on with sharp red eyes, the strange spectator seems deeply impressed by the incredible skill of the young athlete. Gritting his teeth, the furious rival refuses to stay down and angrily screams at our hero to turn back around. Looking back with total indifference, the calm teenager notes that getting back up must be incredibly painful for him. Determined to prove himself, the angry cheater raises his gloves while shouting that he can still win this fight. The official quickly steps between them and shouts for the action to resume as both fighters prepare to clash once more. Before the bully can even react, a bright red glove flies straight toward his face with terrifying power. With incredible power, the boy lands a direct hit on his opponent's face. A relentless barrage of strikes follows and completely overwhelms the arrogant bully. His knees crash heavily onto the canvas as his body gives out from the pressure. The entire crowd gasps in disbelief when they see the previous champion struggling on the floor. Looking up in pure horror, the red-haired fighter realizes he cannot even track the boy movements. The referee quickly checks on him, but the stubborn bully pushes himself back up to continue. Warning him sternly, the official notes that one more knockdown will instantly end the entire match. Screaming in absolute rage, the cheater demands to resume the fight immediately to save his pride. Shouting the command to resume, the referee steps back and lets the two rivals clash once more. Rushing forward with desperation, the angry opponent lunges to try and land a decisive blow. He throws a wild punch with all his strength, hoping to catch the calm teenager off guard. Moving with perfect grace, the young protagonist effortlessly ducks under the dangerous swing. Showing total composure, the boy maintains a sharp focus on his opponent every move. Sweating profusely, the rival grows increasingly frustrated because none of his attacks can land. The teenager easily dodges several more punches and notes that attacks fueled by raw anger are too slow. Launching a massive strike, our hero targets the open jaw of his opponent. The powerful punch lands perfectly on the chin of the red-haired bully. His eyes roll back from the heavy impact as his head flies backward. Following up with a rapid combination, the boy easily breaks through the guard and lands another brutal blow. Looking completely focused, the young fighter prepares to deliver the final strike of this match. The exhausted opponent can only growl in pain while struggling to even stand straight. Staring calmly at his rival, the protagonist decides it is time to end the entire fight. With a surprisingly gentle tap, our hero simply pushes the bully over. The arrogant cheater collapses heavily onto the floor and lies completely motionless. Standing silently over his fallen rival, the boy feels no pity for the defeated cheat. The referee quickly declares a knockout victory for the young star in the very first round. Smiling warmly, the protagonist raises his glove to celebrate his hard-earned victory. The entire stadium explodes with excitement as fans shout the name of the new champion. Right after his massive win, a reporter approaches the young hero to ask how he feels about this amazing rematch. Suddenly, a mysterious guy wearing a white cap steps onto the ring and catches everyone's attention. The crowd begins to whisper because they did not expect a random spectator to walk right up to the champion. Our hero looks at the visitor with confusion and wonders what this stranger wants from him. Before anyone can stop him, the intruder suddenly grabs the microphone right out of the reporter's hand. The stranger apologizes for the interruption and politely congratulates the young star on his great victory. While the angry reporter complains about the intrusion, the man explains that he has been watching the boy matches closely. Slowly tilting his cap up, the mysterious visitor prepares to reveal his true identity to the entire stadium. He introduces himself as Kwon Tae-jin, and the crowd immediately realizes he is a famous lightweight champion. Hearing this legendary name makes our hero freeze in complete shock as he tries to process the situation. The champion gets straight to the point while staring at the young athlete with a very intense gaze. Standing in the center of the ring, he suddenly asks the rookie for a formal match. Inside a large corporate office building, the protagonist later wonders why such a famous fighter would challenge him. His mentor explains that the sport gained massive popularity in Korea after a legend named Seo Jun won a world title. He adds that the champion likely wants to boost his own fame by defeating the student of such a legendary fighter. Kang Chan worries if he is ready for a title fight since cutting weight with his height is very difficult. The glasses guy explains that changing weight classes right now would completely wipe his winning record. He suggests first winning this title to secure a spot in the upcoming international tournament. This path would allow our hero to rise to the international stage and finally target the world division. The teenager notes he only had 4 fights, but the mentor says 5 wins is enough due to a small fighter pool. Even though it feels a bit early, the team believes this is a rare chance that they must try to grab. Staring at a framed picture of his grandmother, the young boxer agrees that he does not want to wait any longer. The elderly coach cuts in and states that the actual challenge is whether he can survive against the champion. Both coaches agree that the kid currently only has a tiny 10% chance of winning this massive match. Looking directly at the rookie, the old coach suddenly calls his name to get his absolute attention. The wise trainer asks the boy to explain what his boxing style actually means to him. Hearing this sudden question, the confused teenager wonders what his own boxing style is supposed to be. Walking together outside, the mentor mentions that next week will be the perfect chance to fix his current issue. He warns that while his fundamentals are solid, the rookie will surely lose without finding his own identity. The elderly coach reminds the boy about the massive matches happening next week. Our hero completely forgot about those events because he was too focused on his own title fight. Looking up at the cold winter sky, the young boxer notices that soft white snow is starting to fall. Time passes and the teenager is now 20 years old with a professional record of 3 wins and 1 loss. Soon the big day arrives and everyone gathers at the massive arena for the championship matches. Walking into the bright lights of the ring, the strong girl looks incredibly focused and ready to fight. Seeing his close friend step up to the challenge, the boy calls out her name in excitement. He tells her not to be nervous, but she points out that he actually looks much more scared than her. Smiling confidently, she says there is no way she will let him become a champion before she does. The proud girl promises to bring home the gold belt, and the teenager smiles back at her with trust. Stepping firmly onto the canvas, she gets ready to start the most important match of her career. Standing inside the ring, the young girl faces an opponent who is way taller than her. Watching from the side, the protagonist looks completely shocked when he notices the massive height difference. The story goes back to the day before the match when the two friends happily met up at a restaurant to enjoy a big meal. While offering him a piece of steak, she suddenly notices that he is using his right hand to cut the food. The boy explains that he actually does a lot of things with his left hand as well. She looks surprised and asks if he can easily use both of his hands. Changing the subject, the girl notices his quiet mood and asks why he seems so down lately. Our hero admits that he is very nervous about her fight and still worries about his own boxing style. She smiles and reassures him by pointing out how great he was at infighting during his previous match. She explains that growing up around good adults made his style incredibly creative and free. Her expression suddenly darkens as she mentions that having a bad father is worse than having no parents at all. Realizing what she just said, the girl gasps in shock at her own sudden words. The young boxer stops eating and stares at his friend in complete silence. She quickly apologizes for the heavy comment, but the kind teenager calmly reassures her that everything is fine. Looking down with deep sadness, the girl remembers the painful memories of her childhood. Her home was always incredibly messy, with empty bottles and trash scattered all over the floor. She recalls the dark times when her angry father would lose his temper and hit her. The furious man would constantly yell at his young daughter, just because she looked like her mother. Being very stubborn, she always talked back and only got hit even worse as a result. Seeking an escape from her terrible home life, she spent as much time as possible at school. One day, her classmates notice something is completely wrong when they look at her. They look at her in total shock and ask what happened to her bruised face. The poor girl hated herself because she was too ashamed to tell them the real truth. She walked home as slowly as possible after school just to avoid returning to that scary house. Walking down the street, she suddenly stops and stares at a nearby building. That was the exact moment when she first noticed the local boxing gym. From then on, she could happily tell her friends that her bruises were just from training hard. Learning to fight became her perfect excuse to cover up the dark secrets of her life. However, a teacher eventually reported the situation and the police arrived at the gym to investigate. Fearful of getting her sweet coach into trouble, the girl decided to tell the police the entire truth about her situation. Tears ran down her face as she worried that the team would kick her out of the gym for causing so much drama. But instead of getting angry, the kind trainer replaced his hand on her head to comfort her. He told her to pay him back by becoming a champion and even helped her find a safe new place to live. Suddenly, her abusive father burst through the front doors of the gym and started shouting her name in anger. The older guys at the gym immediately stepped up to protect her, and she finally felt like she had a real family. Back in the present moment, the girl stands focused in the ring and ready to face this massive challenge. Looking from the side, our hero gets extremely worried because the opponent has a much longer reach than his friend. The tall opponent moves fast and unleashes a powerful punch that lands right against the girl guard. Using her incredible height advantage, the fighter continues to throw a barrage of quick long-range jabs. Despite the heavy pressure, the young girl keeps her bright blue eyes wide open to read every single movement. The worried protagonist wonders if she can survive this onslaught, but the wise trainer tells him to stay calm. He explains that she is not afraid of getting hit and will never close her eyes, even under pressure. Trusting her training, the brave girl prepares to find the perfect moment to strike back against her opponent. With her eyes wide open, the brave girl spots the perfect opening in her opponent's defense. Slipping right under a massive punch, she swiftly moves inside the taller fighter guard. She connects with a powerful counterpunch that lands directly on the opponent's face. The tall fighter looks completely stunned after taking such a direct hit to the head. Watching from the corner, the boy gets excited while the coach praises her incredible speed. Her training has given her amazingly fast hands that can throw multiple strikes at once. She unleashes a brutal combination of fast punches to overwhelm her tall rival. The shocked protagonist calculates that she just landed 10 clean shots in a single second. Struggling to breathe, the opponent realizes she cannot afford to underestimate the girl. She immediately raises her guard to protect herself from getting knocked down. The girl continues to press the attack, but her punches start getting blocked. The mentor explains that the opponent is using a shoulder roll to easily dodge the flurry. He adds that throwing more punches right now would only waste her valuable energy. To break this defense, she needs to circle to the right and step into the blind spot. The focused fighter prepares to make her next move while watching the opponent rear hand. The tall opponent suddenly throws a powerful counterpunch right at her face. Her bright blue eyes easily track the fast-moving glove coming her way. Slipping under the strike, she immediately launches a perfect counter of her own. The taller fighter gasps in total shock when a massive hit connects with her head. She unleashes a brutal combination of fast punches to completely overwhelm her rival. With her glowing blue eyes wide open, the brave fighter stays fully focused on the match. She swings with all her might, but suddenly notices something strange about her opponent. The tall opponent loses her balance and crashes heavily onto the canvas. The referee waves his hands to stop the match and declares her as the brand new champion. Seeing her victory, the protagonist shouts with joy while the wise coach watches with pride. Around the ring, the excited crowd erupts into loud cheers to celebrate her success. Biting her trembling lip, the emotional girl lets out a huge victory scream to release her feelings. Raising her arms high, she proudly shows off the gold belt and thanks everyone for the support. Looking over at her mentor, she points at the heavy golden prize wrapped around her waist. She loudly reminds the old coach about the promise she made to him long ago. With a bright grin, the excited girl announces that she finally kept her word. The emotional trainer tries to hide his tears and calls her a little brat with a soft smile. Looking at the nice neighborhood adults who came to support her friend, the young girl feels a tiny bit jealous. But she quickly realizes that her amazing coach and gym friends are her true family now. Right after her victory, another senior teammate enters the ring to defend his own championship belt. Pressing forward with aggressive style, the skilled veteran easily knocks out his opponent to secure the win. Back at the training facility, the friendly protagonist happily congratulates both champions for their success. Instead of thanking him, the two friends jokingly tease him for being the only one without a golden belt. Tears fill his eyes as the sad boy runs over to complain to their mentor about getting picked on. Even the old trainer joins in on the fun and tells the teenager to come back when he actually wins a title. Staring at them with a blank face, our hero wonders if this is how city people show their affection. While a cold rival looks on with annoyance, the young boxer quietly sits alone to prepare for his own match. The main character reflects on how his friends already have their own unique fighting styles. He watches another senior teammate land incredibly heavy punches on the bag. Seeing such insane skills makes the boy realize he needs to discover his own signature style soon. Staring down at his wrapped hands, the nervous teenager wonders what kind of boxer he is meant to be. Meanwhile, the coach watches closely as a talented rival enters the ring for a tough sparring match. Taking a quick step forward, the dangerous fighter prepares to showcase his immense strength. He unleashes a series of brutal punches that easily smash through his opponent's guard. Leaving everyone in total shock, the powerful rival effortlessly finishes the sparring session. The brown-haired boxer gets praised for doing a great job in the ring. His friends note that he easily defeated 3 traditional stance fighters in a row. They add that he is also incredibly strong when facing other left-handed opponents. This makes him known as the most complete southpaw fighter in the entire country. Walking slowly onto the stage, a new challenger takes his first steps. The announcer introduces him as Lee Gang-chan, a super rookie who arrived like a comet. Standing before the crowd, the young rookie thinks the ring feels far away today. The crowd goes wild as the host introduces the powerful champion defending his title. If the newcomer is a bright comet, then the reigning champion is a burning sun. Kwon Taijin raises his hand high as the proud lightweight champion of the nation. From across the ring, the nervous challenger stares quietly at his powerful opponent. He takes a deep breath to calm his racing thoughts before the fight starts. The champion quickly throws off his dark robe to show he is ready to rumble. While the 19-year-old challenger has a height advantage, the 22-year-old champion has more experience. The referee steps back and the intense match finally begins under the bright lights. The young rookie immediately launches a swift jab to test his opponent's defenses. But the powerful champion instantly reacts with a heavy counterpunch of his own. The teenager gets shocked because the older fighter did not even bother to test him first. With a confident look, the champion notes that probing is completely useless against a regular stance. Stepping forward aggressively, the dangerous champion closes the distance between them. He suddenly unleashes a powerful strike from a blind angle straight toward the rookie face. Moving like lightning, the young challenger barely manages to dodge the incoming hit. The champion gets surprised by those sharp instincts and realizes this rookie is special. To recover his breath, the challenger throws a quick jab and steps back to create some distance. Watching closely, the old coach remembers that the champion is an incredibly seasoned left-handed fighter. In a normal matchup between two right-handed boxers, the lead hands are usually placed on opposite sides. But when a southpaw faces an orthodox fighter, their front hands and feet are extremely close to each other. Southpaws usually step the opposite way, which easily exposes hidden blind spots. Since the rookie lacks experience with this stance, he quickly falls into a bad spot. The young challenger gets shocked when his front hand defense is swiped away. The champion dips down extremely fast to set up a surprise attack. The rookie tries to hit back, but his rival executes a beautiful counter. Panic fills his face as he realizes the previous move was just a trap. A heavy white glove slams directly into the young boy's face. He groans while realizing that he is completely losing the mental battle. Deciding to push forward, the brave challenger rushes in to break the pressure. His worried coach yells from the corner to avoid getting dragged into a close brawl. Ignoring the warning, the rookie ducks low and slides past his opponent's guard. With sharp focus, the young boxer prepares his next move. The champion spots an opening and lands a devastating blow right on the chin of his young opponent. This massive strike sends the rookie crashing onto the canvas as the referee begins the count of 3. From the corner, his coach tells him to take his time and rest while the count reaches 5. Showing incredible resilience, the teenager manages to stand back up on his feet by the count of 6. The bell rings shortly after to mark the end of a highly dominant first round for the reigning champion. In the opposite corner, the leader notes that the rookie has an incredibly tough chin, but still took heavy damage. Looking at the struggling rookie, the champion feels slightly disappointed by the lack of a real challenge. While getting treated with ice, the tired challenger pantingly admits that his opponent is way too strong. The wise mentor warns that his current chances of winning are extremely low unless he finally shows his true style. With a serious gaze, the young fighter nods to show he is fully prepared to give it his all. The fighters step back to the center of the ring as the second round finally gets underway. The champion notices his exhausted opponent is still smiling, which really starts to annoy him. Both athletes immediately trade quick punches as they try to gain control of the match. Stepping forward with massive confidence, the champion attempts to end the battle with a single strike. The challenger easily ducks underneath the punch and attempts to create some safe distance. Out of nowhere, the young rookie unleashes an incredibly fast counterattack that catches his rival off guard. Gang Chan repositions himself while the older fighter quickly raises his guard to prevent any more damage. Sweating heavily, the champion wonders what is happening as his rival takes a very aggressive step forward. The protagonist stands firm in a brand new stance before suddenly blurring out of sight. He swiftly slips past the opponent's defense, who gets startled by this sudden burst of speed. Moving his feet with incredible rhythm, the rookie easily evades another heavy blow. With perfect timing, our hero lands a clean punch straight to the body. The reigning champion gasps in total shock when he realizes the young kid is using a southpaw stance. He remembers how the rookie effortlessly switched hands during their previous exchange in the first round. Shaking off his confusion, the champion prepares to counter this stance since he knows exactly how to handle it. He charges forward with rapid footsteps only to find his target slipping away once again. Unleashing a massive flurry of hits, the protagonist completely overwhelms the seasoned defender. The rival eyes widen in absolute disbelief when he realizes his opponent has already switched back to orthodox. Taijin is shocked as he realizes the young rookie is actually a switch hitter who can fight with both hands. Before the champion can even react, the challenger uses some extremely fast footwork to slide past his defenses. He quickly unleashes a brutal punch that connects directly with the defender's face and leaves him completely stunned. We go back in time to when the main character was studying the unique benefits of using a southpaw stance. The boy realized that switching his guard would allow him to easily counter the reigning champion movements. Staring at his own reflection, he notes that keeping his lead hand and foot close together is the key to success. Because of this, the teenager spent an hour every single day training hard to master this difficult style. He knew that switching his stance mid-fight would completely mess up his opponent's rhythm and give him an opening. Looking back to their training days, the rookie asks his coach to hold the mitts for a quick practice session. He specifically requests the old mentor to mix both orthodox and southpaw stances during the drill. This request surprises the experienced trainer, who wonders if his student has finally found a real solution. A switch hitter is a unique fighter who can freely swap stances while using the best strengths of both styles. Famous legends like Marvin Hagler and Terrence Crawford are great examples of champions who mastered this art. Staring at the boy, the trainer asks if this complex style is truly the ultimate answer he discovered. With eyes full of absolute determination, the young rookie nods and confirms his choice without any hesitation. Accepting the challenge, the older man puts on his gear and prepares to test the boy's skills right away. Immediately after starting, the teenager unleashes a barrage of rapid punches that slice through the air. Moving his hands with perfect precision, the seasoned trainer catches every single incoming blow with ease. Suddenly, the coach stops and decides to raise the difficulty of their training session to test him further. Without saying a word, the older man quickly shifts his body into a defensive stance to catch him off guard. The young rookie instantly recognizes the sudden change and realizes his opponent is now in a southpaw position. Trying to adjust his rhythm too quickly, his feet suddenly get completely tangled up on the hard floor. Losing his balance, the talented teenager crashes hard onto the canvas and lands right on his back. Sweating on the floor, the boy struggles with his tangled footwork, but his shouting coach tells him to get right back up. The grueling training session continues outside the gym as daytime quickly turns into a very dark night. Exhausted by the intense workout, the rookie asks to stop, but the tired coach complains that he is the one actually dying. The mentor finally calls it a day and orders his student to rest before he completely wrecks his young body. Instead of taking a break, the stubborn teenager starts punching the air, which makes the coach yell in disbelief. Back in the present, the coach knows the champion has never faced such an unpredictable stance in his entire career. A collective gasp fills the arena when the mighty champion crashes down to the canvas after taking a heavy hit. Facing two completely different stances makes the champion feel like he is fighting two separate opponents at once. Although they secured the second round, the wise trainer warns that the champion will eventually adapt to this style. In the opposite corner, the worried team tells the champion to stay calm and show everyone his superior boxing skills. Sending him back out, the wise trainer tells the rookie that he is now only one step away from victory. At the exact same time, the rival corner tells their fighter to show everyone why he holds the title. Both competitors stare at each other as they prepare to finally settle this epic clash. Standing in their respective corners, the two boxers focus all their energy for the final showdown. Squeaking sounds echo across the arena as the round begins, with both fighters moving incredibly fast. Charging forward with immense speed, the reigning champion unleashes a powerful opening punch. Reacting instantly, our hero fires a swift jab to stop the champion in his tracks. Keeping the momentum, the teenager follows up with another quick punch to keep his rival busy. Utilizing his superior footwork, the young rookie swiftly slides past the champion defense. Gritting his teeth, the champion realizes that his opponent's speed has reached a whole new level. He quickly throws a heavy counter-strike to regain control of the match. Watching the incoming blow with sharp eyes, the protagonist easily reads the entire attack. Slipping underneath the punch, the talented boy prepares to launch a devastating counter. A powerful strike connects cleanly and forces the stunned champion to hold his ground. The champion tries to counter, but the challenger swiftly slips underneath and lands another clean punch. Both fighters take a brief moment to breathe while keeping their eyes locked on each other. They immediately jump back into the action by trading a massive flurry of rapid punches. The champion unleashes a heavy strike, but our hero quickly raises his gloves to block the attack. Standing near the ring, the old mentor and his assistant watch the fierce exchange with worried expressions. The rival coach also stares in complete silence as he analyzes the dangerous situation. The excited commentator screams into his microphone about the incredible focus of both boxers. Suddenly, the champion finds his rhythm and starts landing some heavy hits on the young challenger. Realizing his rival is already adapting to his style, the boy decides he must change stances even faster. While trying to switch his feet, the rookie suddenly loses his footing and slips on the canvas. Spotting the massive mistake, the champion prepares to end the match right then and there. Seeing the rookie slip, the reigning champion throws a massive punch to finish the match once and for all. Everything suddenly goes completely white, and the teenager wonders where he is since he was just fighting 1 second ago. Looking ahead, he sees a familiar figure who tells him to snap out of it and focus on the battle. With a confident smirk, the mysterious guide reminds him that this is the exact moment he has been waiting for. Snapping back to reality, the main character realizes that his life just flashed before his eyes during that critical moment. Relying on his intense training, the boy quickly regains his footing and prepares to make a sudden move. Moving with lightning-fast reflexes, our hero easily ducks underneath the champion's deadly finishing blow. He swiftly counters with a devastating body blow that connects with incredible force. The champion's eyes widen in complete disbelief as he realizes the young rookie actually managed to dodge his attack. Even though things are chaotic, the young rookie admits he has no idea what is happening right now. A massive grin appears on his face because he currently feels absolutely amazing in the middle of this intense fight. At the exact same time, the champion completely tunes out the noisy crowd as he enters a state of absolute focus. Blocking out all distractions, he can only sense the movements of the young challenger standing right in front of him. Both fighters square off once again as they prepare to trade blows in the center of the ring. The champion throws a swift punch, but our hero easily slips backward to avoid the incoming strike. Seizing the open gap, the talented rookie fires a clean counterpunch that connects directly with his rival face. Gritting his teeth in frustration, the reigning champion quickly tries to regain his ground. He unleashes another heavy attack, but the agile teenager simply dances around the dangerous blow. Moving with perfect timing, the young challenger lands another solid hit straight to the defender head. The desperate champion swings wildly, but the protagonist ducks low to make the attack miss completely. Immediately following up with his own attack, our hero delivers a rapid punch right to the opponent's jaw. The champion tries to retaliate with a quick punch, but the rookie easily glides out of the way. Using his incredible speed, the teenager slides his feet across the canvas to reposition himself. Our hero seizes the chance and lands a clean punch straight to his opponent's face. Both fighters immediately start exchanging a rapid flurry of strikes to dominate the ring. Slipping underneath a dangerous swing, the agile teenager easily avoids getting hit. He quickly counters with another sharp strike that finds its target with incredible precision. This sudden attack completely shakes up the champion as he struggles to maintain his composure. Pressing the advantage, the young challenger rushes forward to keep his rival on the defensive. Staring back with intense eyes, the champion knows he cannot afford to make any more mistakes. The talented rookie matches his gaze and prepares to deliver his most powerful attack yet. Gathering all his remaining strength, the teenager throws a massive punch with full force. The reigning champion can only watch as the devastating blow comes flying directly toward him. A brutal hit connects with his jaw and sends shockwaves through the entire arena. With a spectacular final blow, the mighty champion gets lifted right off his feet. We suddenly see a flashback of the champion who never experienced failure during his childhood. Growing up in a wealthy family, he always got everything he wanted but felt extremely restricted. His protective parents constantly sheltered him from any potential danger, even at the playground. The young boy desperately wanted to achieve something great on his own, since his easy life felt incredibly boring. Everything changed during a family gathering, when an annoying relative rudely criticized the boy for being left-handed. Although his mother quickly defended him, the child realized that many people simply refuse to accept anyone who is different. Looking back at that moment, those narrow-minded words became the ultimate trigger for him during his teenage years. Craving a dangerous challenge, he decided to follow a close friend to a local boxing gym for a sudden change of pace. Stepping inside the training facility, the young man felt a wave of relief and realized he could finally breathe. It felt as if a tiny frog had finally escaped its dark well to discover the massive world outside. His left-handed stance became a massive advantage in the ring, which instantly hooked him even deeper into the sport. Loving every single detail, he enjoyed the heavy sound of the sandbag and even the metallic taste of blood during sparring. Winning his first champion belt with ease, the young fighter assumed his path would never face any real obstacles. His cheerful coach suddenly approached him with a unique sparring offer against another dangerous regional champion. Wearing a confident smirk, he eagerly accepted the challenge because he expected an incredibly easy victory. That arrogant assumption quickly shattered when he faced the brutal reality of his opponent's overwhelming power. Sitting on the canvas of the ring, the young boxer looks up at the opponent who just defeated him so easily. This powerful rival feels completely out of his league, as the gap between their skills is just way too massive. Staring in complete shock, the defeated fighter realizes that the wide world is much bigger than he ever imagined. He decides to stay in his safe bubble, and we see a stone well where a tiny frog is trapped inside its own small space. During the pre-fight interview, the champion confidently tells the crowd that he will easily secure another victory. Saying those words was actually a clever defense mechanism, because deep down he was absolutely terrified of losing. However, his mindset completely changes when the smiling rookie takes the microphone to make a bold statement. The cheerful teenager proudly announces his plan to win and instantly challenge for the grand title in the region. Hearing this ambitious goal, the current champion finds the challenger to be incredibly arrogant and annoying. He absolutely hates the fact that this newcomer is already aiming for a much higher level than his own position. We see the little frog sitting at the edge of the well, as if it is finally ready to look at the outside world. Suddenly, a giant eagle appears in the bright sky and gazes down directly at the tiny creature sitting below. The massive bird spreads its wings and flies gracefully over the grassy field without any effort at all. Staring up at the majestic creature, the tiny frog wonders why this bird gets to stand so high above everyone else. A blinding light covers the entire sky as the champion remembers his ultimate motivation to reach the absolute top. A gold championship belt shines brightly in the arena, representing the ultimate title of the region. Standing in the center of the ring, the young challenger wears the heavy gold belt around his waist. Looking down at his hands, the boy feels completely confused and wonders how he actually won this match. Suddenly, a familiar voice calls out his name from behind and snaps him out of his deep thoughts. The cheerful female assistant jumps onto him for a massive hug to celebrate his legendary victory. Our hero immediately blushes red as he tries to thank his friend for her sweet support. Realizing what she just did, the young girl also turns bright red and looks extremely surprised. She quickly backs away and apologizes for the sudden reaction, while the rookie says it is totally fine. Loud clapping sounds suddenly echo throughout the entire venue as everyone recognizes the new champ. The proud crowd goes wild as they shout words of encouragement for his upcoming journey to the world stage. Holding his microphone tight, the excited commentator calls this epic match a true uprising of an underdog. He screams with all his might to officially introduce the brand new champion of the division. Hearing his name declared out loud, the passionate teenager raises his arms and yells in pure happiness. The announcer then asks him how it feels to succeed so fast and who he wants to thank for this moment. Grabbing the microphone with a bright smile, the main character first expresses gratitude to all his fans. The young boy continues his speech by thanking his supportive gym family who always stand by his side. Next, he shows appreciation to Hwang In-young, who gave him such a tough and memorable fight. Our hero also makes sure to mention Ryuji because he played a very important part in his journey. Tears of joy run down the faces of the proud elders from Sunshin Village while they watch him on television. He also sends a warm thank you to Grandma Younghee, who always cheered for him from the very beginning. The funny teenager even starts thanking random local shop owners until his friend tells him that is enough. Turning his attention back to the ring, he sincerely thanks Kwon Taijin for giving him such an incredible match. A soft smile finally appears on the beaten defender face when he hears those respectful words. Looking directly at the new champion, the defeated rival promises that he will definitely win their next battle. He hopes they can both fly high like majestic eagles in the same sky as true equals someday. Back at the local training facility, we see 3 shiny belts representing their 3 amazing national champions. Since he is the disciple of a legend, the boy gets lots of media attention and quickly gains a massive female fan base. The strict trainer tells him to focus on his footwork while secretly admiring how handsome his star student is. Inside the gym, the female assistant gets fired up and trains her punches with great intensity. Meanwhile, she starts getting a massive wave of male supporters who carry cute signs for her. The girl tells them to go home and study, which only makes the young boys love her cold attitude even more. On the other hand, the tough senior has absolutely zero female supporters as only guys cheer for him. Even when he angrily tells them to leave, his male fans just get more excited by his rough personality. At the same time, our hero moves up to the welterweight division and starts lifting heavy weights. The wise coach approaches the boy to explain that his recent victory happened because of a major adrenaline rush. He explains that some people call this incredible feeling being in the zone during highly intense moments. This special mental state can happen to normal athletes and even creative artists when they are fully focused. The human brain suddenly senses everything much faster, but relying on luck during a major title fight is dangerous. He claims that true professionals must learn to reach this incredible level consistently during every single match. The older mentor warns that the next international tournament will feature champions from every nearby country. The main goal right now is to fix the teenager light punch power before he steps into the heavier division. To build massive lower body explosive power, the young challenger begins doing intense split squats. Doing knuckle push-ups on the floor is essential to build strong wrists that can handle heavy impact. After that, the young athlete throws a heavy medicine ball to engage his entire body during training. He also performs rotational band exercises because maximum punch power actually originates from the hips. Suddenly, a blue boxing glove flies forward as a senior teammate named Wung hits the heavy bag with insane power. Watching the display of strength, the main character immediately approaches his senior with a curious expression. Turning around with a sweaty face, the experienced boxer asks if the rookie has a question for him. Without wasting any time, the teenager directly asks his friend how he managed to develop such terrifying power. Scratching his head, the senior admits that he simply kept practicing without really thinking about the theory. He explains that punching is similar to how a soccer goalie shifts weight before jumping to block a shot. To throw a powerful straight punch, a fighter must drive off their back foot to generate maximum force. When throwing hooks, the athlete should shift their weight using a duck or a slip to gather momentum. This entire process is about transferring explosive energy directly from the legs all the way to the fists. Hearing this explanation, our hero finally understands how defensive moves can blend perfectly into offense. The senior stays silent and wonders how the rookie understood a complex concept from such a basic explanation. Walking outside the gym, the older boxer notices that his student is empty-handed while snow begins to fall on the city. The senior happily bites into a warm pastry while carrying a massive paper bag stuffed with delicious treats. Our hero smiles as he asks if his friend is planning to share those snacks with the entire team. With a completely blank look, the senior replies that the delicious pastries are actually all for himself. The young rookie wonders if his senior loves fish pastries, only for the boy to reply that he simply enjoys eating food. Staring in disbelief, the boy wonders how 30 pastries can fit inside his small body, and if food is his source of power. Shifting the topic, the main character curiously asks his companion why he never made a professional debut as a boxer. Turning around with a serious expression, the older athlete slowly reveals that he actually did debut in the past. During his very first professional match, he unleashed his terrifying power and hit his opponent with everything he had. That brutal punch knocked out the poor opponent, who ended up staying in the hospital for several days to recover. Feeling guilty about causing such damage, the young fighter became too terrified to ever step inside the ring again. He reassures the sad rookie that his rival recovered, and therapy is helping him prepare for an exciting comeback. Feeling sympathy for his senior, the protagonist is suddenly interrupted by a very loud noise echoing nearby. Both boxers freeze in surprise as a sudden sound catches their attention. Turning their heads, they spot a white car that has crashed, and people are calling 119 for help. Without wasting a single second, the two athletes run quickly toward the smoking vehicle. Inside the vehicle, an unconscious woman lies still while a small child cries loudly in the back seat. Seeing the crying baby makes the older boxer panic as he realizes they need to act immediately. The situation gets even worse as thick gray smoke begins to rise from under the damaged hood. The heavy athlete grabs the handle and pulls with all his strength, but the door is completely jammed. The protagonist looks around for a heavy tool to break the window and offers to search for a rock. His companion raises his wrapped hand and refuses the offer with a very determined look on his face. The massive boxer stands tall and decides to handle the emergency situation using his own physical power. He plans to strike the passenger side so the broken glass does not hit the sleeping driver. Planting his foot firmly on the cold pavement, he prepares to transfer his entire body weight into the strike. Remembering his training, he shifts his balance forward to generate the ultimate amount of destructive force. His powerful fist smashes directly through the thick window and shatters it into 1,000 tiny pieces. Our main character stares in complete disbelief after witnessing the absolute perfection of that single blow. The protagonist thinks that was easily the coolest punch he has ever witnessed in his entire life. Luckily, the mother only passes out while her child is rescued without any serious injuries. However, that heroic action comes with a very heavy price for the brave boxer. The next day, the senior arrives at the gym waving with his entire arm wrapped in a massive cast. Our hero looks completely shocked when he sees the massive bandage on his friend's arm. The wise coach steps forward and warns that preparing for a comeback is impossible with such an injury. The worried teenager wonders if the bone is broken, only for his senior to clarify it is just a small fracture. The young rookie feels terrible since his companion was really looking forward to stepping back inside the ring. That is when the main character notices that his injured friend is holding something else in his other hand. He is carrying a piece of paper that contains a colorful drawing of a superhero punching a car. The drawing has a very sweet message thanking the brave athlete for saving a life. Looking at the cute gift, the protagonist realizes that this sacrifice is actually a true badge of honor. The heavy boxer flashes a bright smile, showing he does not regret using his power to protect others. Inside the local facility, the other athletes continue their intense training under the bright lights. Our hero starts practicing his stance by focusing on how his hips rotate to generate massive power. Hearing a familiar voice behind him, the young athlete turns around and gets praised for looking like a real fighter. The surprise guest is none other than his legendary teacher Seo Jun, who asks if his star pupil is doing well. Shocked by the sudden visit, the boy asks what brought him here, and the master mentions he has a commercial shoot nearby. Hearing the big name, the other athletes in the facility immediately go crazy and rush over to see the handsome superstar. Everyone crowds around the famous boxer, asking for pictures and autographs while he politely agrees with a gentle smile. Looking at his disciple, the mentor complains about his plain countryside clothes, which might ruin his own glamorous image. The legendary fighter decides to take his student out so they can completely change his simple look. Driving through the busy city streets in a bright yellow vehicle, the master decides they should grab a delicious meal first. Soon a massive table filled with hot stews and various traditional side dishes is placed right in front of them. Inside the diner, the famous superstar wonders why they did not choose a much fancier restaurant instead. However, he quickly admits that he enjoys the peaceful place since absolutely nobody there recognizes his face. Suddenly, a loud voice echoes through the room, and the famous fighter assumes that a passionate fan has spotted him. An old man actually runs past the superstar to greet the young rookie, who often plays board games in the local park. The kind elder tells the young athlete to enjoy his food, leaving the master feeling slightly awkward at the table. Suddenly, a delicious plate of meat arrives at their table even though the two companions never ordered it. The generous lady running the shop tells the teenager to eat plenty, while the mentor tries to politely decline. Our hero happily thanks the sweet woman and explains that he got a lucky ride to travel this far from home today. Staring at the friendly interaction, the handsome mentor feels a strong sense of familiarity from this exact situation. Having filled their stomachs with delicious food, the duo decides to walk it off and visits a nearby coin singing room. The place is run by an elderly owner named Lee Young-ho, who admits that sitting behind the desk all day is very boring. To pass the time, the old manager has developed a fun hobby of scoring the vocal skills of every customer who visits. Grabbing the microphone, the proud mentor confidently declares that he will give his student a proper demonstration first. The television screen lights up and prepares the music track as the famous boxer gets ready to show off his secret talent. The old manager watches the superstar and thinks that he chose a very classic song that almost every guy has tried once. Standing in the small room, the legendary boxer sings with extreme passion and pours his entire soul into the microphone. Pressing the buttons on his calculator, the old man admits that the performance is actually worthy of a professional singer. A score of 96 points quickly appears on the screen to show how impressive his vocal performance truly was. While the disciple celebrates this great score, the mentor feels slightly disappointed because he expected a perfect grade. Turning to his young student, the mentor tells him to hurry up and choose a track so they can see his skills as well. The famous boxer is completely amused when he sees his disciple flipping through a physical songbook instead of using a phone. After finding the correct code, the teenager slowly presses the numbers on the keypad to start his chosen track. The screen lights up with an old song called Bukangan Girl, which is definitely a very unusual choice for a young guy. The elderly manager is shocked because this legendary song was released all the way back in the 1960s. Closing his eyes, the rookie boxer begins to sing with an incredible amount of emotion that fills the entire room. Hearing the beautiful voice of the teenager, the manager freezes as tears of pure nostalgia begin to well up in his eyes. He wonders how a young man in his 20s can express such deep grief and pain through a classic melody. The screen flashes brightly and displays a perfect score of 100 points to reward his spectacular performance. While the young boy cheers happily for his perfect score, his superstar mentor is left standing there completely speechless. Leaving the singing room, the famous master thanks the owner for the fun time. Just as they are about to step out, the teenager hears someone calling out to him. The elderly manager gives a big thumbs up and says he really enjoyed the beautiful song. Smiling brightly, the young rookie promises to return and play again soon. The mentor wonders why he feels like he has been losing to his disciple all day. Soon they arrive at a fancy clothing store where rows of stylish outfits are on display. A polite female employee welcomes them and tells them to feel free to look around. This worker secretly loves to pass the time by quietly scoring the fashion of her customers. While the rookie feels fine in his current clothes, his teacher demands he pick something quickly. A few minutes pass by and the teacher turns around after hearing his student call out to him. The legendary boxer freezes in absolute horror as his eyes lock onto his disciple. The boy stands proud in an incredibly bright and mismatching yellow outfit. Screaming in frustration, the mentor tells the teen that he looks like a complete bumpkin now. The rookie defends his choice while the clerk is just shocked they even sell those strange clothes. Giving up on the fashion show, the teacher hands over a highly stylish outfit for his student to wear. Stepping out in his new stylish outfit, the teenager immediately feels like he is way too overdressed. Meanwhile, the store clerk thinks his new look is a perfect 100 points and wants them to pay immediately. His teacher even picks out several more outfits and demands that his student should take all of them as well. The superstar pulls out his credit card and happily offers to pay for everything as a special gift. Suddenly, a hand stops him because the young athlete wants to prevent his mentor from spending so much money. Smiling brightly, the kid says these clothes are for him, so he should definitely be the one paying. He explains that his master has very precious time, and just spending the day together is already a massive gift. The legendary fighter grins and says his pride as a teacher will not let him put his card back. hearing that the protagonist asks him to give him something that is actually far more valuable instead. Soon they return to the training facility because a proper sparring session is much more expensive than clothes. While putting on his protective headgear, the master asks if his student is still sleeping inside the cold ring. The boy laughs and denies it since he is proper champion now, who should have much better living conditions. However, we see a funny memory of him happily sleeping on a wooden bench inside the warm locker room instead. The teacher sighs and comments that even after becoming a champion, his silly student has not changed at all. Master Seo-jun tells his student that it is time to check his fighting skills. The gym bell rings to start the spar as the legendary mentor prepares his stance. Both fighters step forward and tap their boxing gloves as a sign of respect. The young rookie realizes he must move up to the welterweight class where his teacher is the absolute king. This is a rare opportunity for him to test his own limits against a legendary opponent. The determined teenager fires a quick jab while promising to give this match his absolute best. The legendary master effortlessly blocks the attack with a calm expression on his face. A loud noise echoes through the gym when the superstar lands a swift counterpunch. The rookie is shocked because his master started his punch later but still hit him first. Another fast attack comes flying straight toward the stomach of the young champion. Suddenly, the punch changes direction and hits the teenager right on the side of his head. The boy realizes his opponent used a clever body fake to lower his guard before landing a hook. Despite taking heavy damage, the brave rookie refuses to back down and charges right back in. Lunging forward with extreme speed, the young rookie aims to close the distance instantly. He unleashes a fast punch, but the legendary fighter easily dodges the attack with a swift movement. Following up with another quick strike, the boy realizes that his opponent can read every single move. Smiling calmly, the superstar is highly impressed to see his talented student constantly switching his stance. Staring intensely at his mentor, the determined teenager prepares to unleash his next big move. While trying to keep his distance, the kid notices how the master uses his lead hand to control the space. Trying to slip inside the defense, the rookie is shocked when a smirk suddenly appears on the face of his teacher. The champion quickly changes his footwork and unleashes a massive flurry of hits that completely overwhelms him. In a fraction of a second, the young athlete is knocked down to the ground by a single swift blow. Sitting on the canvas, he realizes with absolute horror that his master only used his left hand this entire time. Looking up in shock, the rookie wonders just how incredibly strong his legendary teacher actually is. Quickly stomping his foot, the young athlete refuses to let this demoralizing defeat stop his momentum. Standing back up, he realizes that he must give everything to force his master to fight seriously. Watching his student stand up, the legendary master smiles because this is exactly what he wanted to see. While other fighters usually give up, the proud teacher knew his favorite student would never back down. Returning to the action, the master effortlessly avoids the fast strikes while keeping a calm expression. Swift footwork allows the superstar to stay ahead of the game and control the entire pace of the match. Staying at a precise 45-degree angle, the mentor prevents his opponent from getting a clear shot. He continues to use his lead hand in many different ways to keep the young champion completely at bay. Knowing he cannot win like this, the boy decides he must find a way to crack this impossible angle. Staring intensely at his mentor, the clever teenager decides to set a dangerous trap to bait the master. Throwing a fast punch forward, the rookie intentionally leaves an opening in his defense to lure him in. Spotting the sudden move, the legendary fighter looks slightly surprised by this sudden change of tactics. Pushing off the ground with incredible power, the determined kid prepares to execute his secret plan. Executing a quick step to the side, the rookie tries to bypass the defense of his smiling teacher. Throwing another fast punch, the teenager realizes that his mentor can effortlessly predict every action. The superstar notices his student is making big movements under pressure and lands a heavy counterpunch. With only 58 seconds left on the timer, the legendary fighter effortlessly maintains complete control. As the clock ticks down to 32 seconds, the young champion is still completely unable to touch his target. With only 8 seconds remaining on the clock, the exhausted teenager desperately begs his frozen body to move. Refusing to give up, the brave athlete gathers all his remaining energy to launch one final direct strike. The master expects the same pattern and wonders if his student has run out of clever tricks. Pushing forward, the young athlete throws a high attack but quickly switches to a low blow instead. The teacher realizes it was a smart feint as a heavy punch finally connects with his defense. Feeling the crazy impact on his arm, the superstar admits that his disciple has some serious power. However, the master smiles because he is not going to let the kid land another clean hit. The tired boy struggles to even lift his hands and realizes they did not even finish one round. Suddenly, the master stops his glove right before the kid's face and calls an end to the spar. Smiling happily through his pain, the grateful rookie bows and thanks his teacher for the lesson. The mentor explains that his student is great at counters but got too excited and stepped in too deep. He advises the young fighter to never sacrifice his natural strength just to land a single flashy blow. Finally, the legend warns him that his sore body will feel super sick tomorrow from all those hits. The young champion lies completely exhausted on the floor after receiving a beating from his mentor. Seeing his terrible state, a female athlete and his teacher quickly gather around to check on him. The master explains that he used his student's phone to find someone to help because he feared the coach's reaction. The female friend suggests taking him to a better place since leaving an injured fighter at the gym is a bad idea. However, she reveals that she must leave the country tomorrow, so they cannot use her apartment. Realizing what this means, the teenager panics, while his teacher looks at him with a funny expression. The mentor happily wishes him good luck and leaves him to deal with the situation alone. Soon they drive over to the young boxer's new residence to let him rest properly. Carrying the heavy athlete inside, the master complains about how much weight the kid has gained recently. The female friend and the teacher start bickering about who is truly responsible for his massive size. Looking around the cozy room, the girl praises the neat space which was rented by his caring coach. Preparing to depart, the legendary fighter thanks the girl for helping out before saying his final goodbyes. Watching him walk away, she quietly thinks about something she was too young to express in the past. The girl recalls a past memory where the young athlete thanked the legendary fighter for his help. With a gentle smile, the master dismissed it by saying they used to train in the same gym together. He told her to call him whenever she needed help because he owed her one. The girl thanked him and politely asked him not to follow her outside as she departed. Back in the present, night falls over the quiet apartment building. Inside the room, the injured teen offers to sleep on the floor, but his caring friend refuses to let him do that. Blushing deeply, the embarrassed boy apologizes for causing so much trouble out of nowhere. She reassures him and explains that she was just borrowing this nice place from their coach anyway. Wishing him a peaceful rest, she reaches out and turns off the room lights. Lying awake in the dark room, the nervous teenager finds it completely impossible to fall asleep. Soon the bright morning sun shines over the city as a new day begins. Looking incredibly tired, the exhausted boxer regrets tossing and turning all night long. The shocked girl quickly touches his forehead and panics when she realizes his fever has gotten much worse. The caring girl decides to change his wet towel and prepare some warm food so he can take his medicine. She quickly heads over to the kitchen stove and starts boiling a warm pot of porridge for the sick kid. Looking surprised, the boy asks if she knows how to cook, and she explains she has lived alone for 10 years. Suddenly, a loud ringing sound interrupts their quiet conversation as the girl looks down at her phone screen. Picking up the call with a curious expression, she wonders who could be contacting her so early in the morning. The voice on the other end belongs to their concerned head coach, who is calling to check up on the rookie. He explains that the young fighter missed training today and asks if she has seen him anywhere around. The girl hesitates because she knows that telling the truth will get their master into huge trouble. She quickly makes up a wild lie by claiming that the two of them are actually out on a special date today. Hearing this crazy excuse, the sick boy is so shocked that he immediately spits out his mouthful of food. The coach listens in utter confusion as the girl suddenly yells at the teenager for making a mess on the bed. Misunderstanding the chaotic sounds, the older man is completely horrified by what he thinks is happening. He tries to convince himself that his young student would never do something so bold in his apartment. Instead, the old coach hilariously assumes that the girl must have kidnapped the poor rookie for her own gain. Back in the room, the girl ignores the phone to make sure the embarrassed boy did not burn himself with the hot food. The girl reassures him that she is going to wash the messy blanket anyway because he was sweating a lot. She then tells him to calm his fever down by taking a nice warm shower while she handles the dirty laundry. Soon the sound of running water echoes through the clean bathroom as the boy turns on the shower. Stepping under the warm stream, the young athlete relaxes his incredibly toned body after a long day. He closes his eyes and enjoys the soothing heat because it feels absolutely amazing on his sore muscles. This nice moment reminds him of his past in the countryside where he had to wash with freezing water from a basin. The grateful teenager silently promises to work hard so his beloved grandmother can enjoy a luxurious life too. Meanwhile, the girl is busy loading up the washing machine when another sudden call starts ringing on the floor. Picking up the vibrating device with a tired look, she wonders who could possibly be calling her right now. Her gym friend screams through the speaker to ask if she is actually dating the young champion. The shocked guy claims that the head coach spread the news, but she explains it was just a quick excuse to cover things up. Right at that moment, the boy peeks his head out of the bathroom to ask how he should clean the tub. Hearing this weird question, the friend on the phone freezes in absolute shock after hearing about a shower. He stares blankly with endless questions in his mind, because the crazy misunderstanding has reached a new level. Later, the clean teenager comes out and feels much better while his friend asks if the spare clothes fit him. Looking closely at him, the girl realizes the clothes she gave him are way too tight for his huge body. The boy scratches his head and says the shirt is a bit small but still perfectly fine to wear. Seeing him wear the tight outfit makes her face turn completely red as she struggles to look away. Panicking, she quickly offers to find a much larger set of clothes so he can change right now. The young champion appreciates her kindness and flashes a gentle smile while drying his wet hair. Soon the exhausted boy lies down on the bed as he feels incredibly weak from his high temperature. Gently placing a cool wet towel on his forehead, she tries her best to help him feel comfortable. Staring at her, the grateful teen thinks about how much better he feels thanks to her amazing care. Watching her prepare food in the kitchen reminds him of his loving grandmother, who always cooked for him. Suddenly, the female friend stops her work and turns around to look at him with a serious expression. She teasingly says his fever must be back because his face has turned completely red once again. Looking at the quiet ceiling, the girl starts sharing a personal story about her busy childhood. She recalls how her busy mother would always rush out of the house and leave her alone to eat. Her mother spent every single moment working hard because she felt chased by time. That hurried departure became the very last memory of her parent before a tragic accident happened. Losing her parent taught the girl that rushing through life only leads to terrible pain. Meanwhile, a professional coach stands inside a bright gym and watches his athletes train. On the ring, an intense sparring match takes place as a fierce fighter lands rapid punches. Despite having the clear upper hand, the attacker struggles because his opponent keeps a solid guard. This defensive wall is Yuha Min, a 26-year-old fighter with incredible composure. The legendary former welterweight champion stands at 178 centimeters tall as he waits patiently. As the aggressive opponent rushes forward, the skilled champion easily spots multiple targets on his open body. Moving with incredible precision, he slowly counters the attacker with a perfectly timed punch to the face. Watching from the sidelines, the coach notes that the opponent left a massive opening during his big swing. The brown-haired boxer ducks under another wild strike to land an effortless hit that completely breaks his rhythm. Collapsing onto the canvas, the opponent wonders how a single punch managed to take him down so easily. Smiling warmly, the champion touches gloves and praises his rival for teaching him some valuable lessons today. While the athlete puts on his glasses, the coach happily announces that his next official fight is already set. The name of his next opponent is announced as the famous rookie contender Lee Kang-chan. Hearing this name makes the champion feel incredibly nervous, because his next rival has been getting all the media attention. The experienced fighter suddenly notices his own hand shaking and wonders why he is feeling so incredibly tense right now. Later that evening, the champion returns home to his apartment, holding a cold ice pack against his sore face. His caring father welcomes him back and invites him to sit down for a warm dinner while they talk about the upcoming match. The boxer explains that his younger opponent has great momentum and has skills he can actually learn from. Looking at his bruised face, the worried father gently admits that he wishes his son would just avoid getting hit so much. But the young champion explains that dodging too much ruins his defensive style and can lead to getting hit even harder. He suddenly recalls a familiar phrase about how rushing through things only leads to terrible pain. His father stares at him in silence and asks if he is cold because the young man has stopped moving completely. The champion realizes that his hand is trembling violently while he clutches the freezing ice pack. The young champion stays quiet while looking at his father with a very thoughtful expression. Meanwhile, the caring girl notices the cold and decides to turn the room boiler up for her sick friend. Soon the recovered rookie stands inside his gym looking completely shocked by his new training setup. He stares at a red sandbag with a pair of blue gloves tightly secured to it with a thick rope. The stern head coach explains that he must practice his punches on this specific target from now on. The trainer explains that their upcoming opponent throws very few punches during a match. He explains that the champion keeps a tight defense and waits patiently like a sniper to counter his rivals. The master tells him that the main key to winning is figuring out exactly where the guard will open. Getting into his stance, the young fighter prepares to test out this unique training method. He throws rapid punches to simulate tapping the guard and blocking the vision of his rival. Moving quickly, he delivers a sharp hook from the side to find another potential opening. With perfect accuracy, the boy threads his straight punch directly through the narrow gap. Feeling satisfied with his progress, the coach loudly commands him to start their mitt work next. Swift punches fly as the determined rookie strikes the heavy training pads with intense power. The wise master explains how a high guard actually narrows down a fighter's view during battle. To demonstrate the concept, the young athlete immediately raises his massive red gloves over his face. Swooping in with a mock attack, the master throws a looping hook right around the rookie's blind spot. Nodding and understanding, the trainee promises to stay completely focused on the next sequence. The old trainer suddenly watches in awe when he notices the kid starting to angle his own punches. Elsewhere, a row of gold trophies shines under the dim light of a quiet room where a screen plays. The footage shows the relentless rookie absolutely destroying his opponents with a flurry of strikes. Watching the monitor with a hand on his chin, the champion realizes how the kid breaks solid defenses. He admits that having a clear counter strategy for every match is a truly impressive trait for a rookie. The video shows the newcomer delivering another brutal blow that completely knocks out his target. Intrigued by the amazing display, the glasses-wearing athlete takes them off to get a much closer look. The champion holds his glasses and wonders if his eyesight is getting bad after watching the crazy video. He then notices that the rookie keeps smiling even while facing really tough moments inside the ring. In reality, the kid is just shooting a fun commercial about local rice to show his bright personality. After finishing the main scene, the happy crew yells cut and praises him for doing such an amazing job. His pretty manager walks over and praises his natural smile because she expected him to look super awkward. The boy scratches his head in embarrassment and admits he is just lucky to have a supportive company. She warmly explains that his great skills and charming character are the real reasons for this big success. The young champion promises to train hard and asks the girl what actually brought her to the set today. Smiling brightly, she says she will now tag along as his personal manager for all future international trips. Moving on to another part of the city, the sun shines brightly over the massive modern training facility. Inside the ring, two strong athletes stand opposite each other to start a very intense sparring match. Suddenly, one fighter lunges forward with a quick strike that lands directly on his partner with huge force. Getting hit so hard makes the defender stare in absolute disbelief because he did not expect such speed. The angry defender throws a wild punch, but the rookie easily ducks under the strike with great speed. Countering instantly, the young fighter lands a clean punch directly on his partner's chin. The frustrated opponent tries to fight back, but his attempts are easily blocked by a solid guard. Locking his eyes on the target, the newcomer launches a lightning-fast strike to end the round. The heavy red glove collides with the defender's face, sending sweat and spit flying everywhere. Losing his balance completely, the veteran fighter falls hard onto the canvas floor. He sits on the ground in shock while the dominant rookie stands over him in absolute silence. From the sidelines, the pretty manager praises the kid's amazing head movement during the exchange. Gritting his teeth in pure humiliation, the defeated athlete stares back with intense anger. He aggressively rips off his white protective headgear and tosses it away onto the floor. A coach enters the room to yell at him, but the angry fighter shouts back that he is leaving for good. The furious young man slams the sliding door shut behind him and storms out of the building. Watching the dramatic exit, the old master realizes how impatient his student has become lately. The wise trainer wonders if this pressure will make the fighter fall apart or help him grow stronger. The gray-haired trainer apologizes for the messy sparring session while the young woman smiles and says it is perfectly fine. He then asks what brings her to their gym on this busy day. She happily reveals that her company actually wants to make them a very special offer. Showing off a row of golden championship belts, she mentions two specific starfighters from their roster. The manager wonders if these talented athletes would consider signing a contract with her agency. Crossing his arms, the old master looks intrigued but asks what the actual benefit would be for his gym. She points out that they have 3 active champions, yet he is currently managing all the training entirely alone. Agreeing with her point, the trainer admits he needs help and asks if she has a coach in mind. She dramatically announces that they are in talks with the legendary coach Yu Jin to join their staff. Hearing that famous name shocks the young athlete because that man trained their own master years ago. The older man turns very serious and explains that the coach is currently in no shape to train anyone. The girl says they will prepare a backup plan while also offering to manage their upcoming overseas schedule. This sudden news shocks a nearby female boxer who looks completely stunned by the unexpected proposal. She bursts into a fiery rage when she realizes the manager wants to travel with the popular rookie. Smiling through the chaos, the clever woman mentions she has one more exciting deal to present to them. The woman explains that moving up a weight class means the rookie must eventually give up his championship belt. Staying in the local arena will only keep the other 2 champions from rising up the international ranks. Her company wants to create a solid plan for both athletes to surrender their titles and aim for much higher stages. Tightening his fist in absolute silence, a nearby man struggles to hold back his growing anxiety about this decision. Sweating nervously under his glasses, the anxious coach quietly mutters for his student to stay strong during the pressure. Standing among the loud crowd in the massive arena, the worried man calls out the name of his beloved fighter. The exciting first round finally begins as the orange-gloved boxer raises his guard to face his opponent. Showing off his signature defensive style, the champion immediately raises his high guard to block any incoming attacks. Locking his eyes onto his rival, the determined challenger wonders how he should start breaking through that solid defense. Stepping forward, the rookie quickly launches a series of light taps to test the strength of the high guard. Feeling the constant pressure, the defensive fighter is slowly forced to take a few steps back across the ring. Moving backward, the athlete quickly finds himself cornered right against the thick ropes of the boxing ring. Smiling confidently, the champion actually enjoys this tight space and motions for the rookie to come closer. Answering the bold invitation, the challenger immediately rushes in with incredibly fast and sharp punches. The defensive fighter gets shocked because these heavy blows carry far more destructive power than his videotapes showed. The defender realizes that his younger opponent has completely fixed all of his past weaknesses. The rookie launches a massive straight punch, but the defender manages to absorb the force with his high guard. Shifting his weight, the champion twists his body quickly to safely block a dangerous shot to the ribs. Stepping back for a brief moment, the challenger immediately rushes forward to keep drumming on the solid defense. Lowering his stance, the aggressive youth shoots a lightning-fast jab directly toward the open stomach of his rival. Moving like water, the champion twists his upper body to cleanly evade the incoming strike. Both fighters stare intensely at each other as heavy gloves fly dangerously close to their faces. The defender tries to slip in a short hook, but his agile opponent quickly dances backward to safety. Sweating from the intense effort, the champion realizes that his rival is always one step ahead of him. The young challenger stays completely calm and notes that neither of them has landed a clean shot yet. Standing on the sidelines, the old coach suddenly yells to his student that the perfect moment has arrived. Hearing his name, the determined rookie instantly prepares to unleash his secret technique. Pushing forward with insane speed, the young athlete launches a very calculated strike toward his opponent. Staring in complete shock, the defensive champion wonders how his rival could move so fast. During their private training, the old master always told him to immediately take a quick back step. He also demonstrated how sending a punch slightly offline can trick an experienced fighter. By using the glove like a hook, a clever boxer can easily push down the opponent high guard. Once the solid defense is finally broken, the pathway to the rival face is completely open. Applying the lesson perfectly, the challenger targets the champion undefended chin with intense focus. A brutal punch lands directly on the target, sending a massive shockwave through the ring. Getting hit so hard makes the champion realize that his famous defensive guard has failed. Gritting his teeth, the experienced fighter quickly attempts to reset his fighting stance. He barely manages to raise his orange gloves to block another dangerous hit from the rookie. Sliding his red shoes across the canvas, the young challenger quickly adjusts his footwork for the next attack. The challenger strikes hard, and his red glove sneaks right past the opponent's defensive stance. The champion realizes that even a slight touch counts as a solid scoring hit for his younger rival. Moving incredibly fast, the determined rookie pivots his red shoes to keep up his constant barrage of punches. He lands another heavy blow before dodging a sudden counter with some incredibly smooth head movement. He immediately responds with a devastating blow that sends shockwaves directly through the experienced fighter. Keeping his eyes focused, the young fighter searches for another chance to finish his rival. The cornered champion is forced to block continuously while struggling to find any room to breathe. Gritting his teeth, the defensive master desperately looks for a single opening to turn the match around. He tells himself that every perfect opponent must have some kind of weakness hidden beneath their style. Suddenly, the loud metallic bell rings out across the stadium to signal the end of the first round. The referee quickly steps between the two fighters and declares that the round clearly belongs to Kang Chan. Returning to his corner, the sweaty champion reassures his worried team that he is still doing perfectly fine. His coach leans in closely and asks if the fighter managed to spot any weakness during that intense brawl. The champion admits that the rookie possesses insane power and speed, but there is still a massive flaw in his style. The coach shouts that cutting off this specific movement even once will completely neutralize the kid's main strength. The old trainer tells his fighter to go get the win, and the determined champion agrees to the plan. Stepping back onto the bright stage, the champion suddenly begins to see double as his vision gets incredibly blurry. A drop of dark blood begins to slowly drip from his nose because of the brutal impact from the previous round. Wiping away the warm blood with his heavy glove, the veteran fighter insists to his corner that he is perfectly fine. He wonders if the heavy blow from earlier somehow managed to knock his contact lenses completely out of place. The bell rings for round 2, and the aggressive rookie immediately launches a powerful strike to start the action. Seeing the champion struggle to fight back, the impatient crowd begins to loudly scream for him to wake up. Keeping his guard raised, the veteran reminds himself to stay patient and calmly wait for the perfect opening. Walking down the hallway, the clever manager notes that rushing into action never leads to a good result. Moving in for the kill, the rookie throws a terrifyingly fast punch right down the middle to finish the fight. Sliding his feet across the blue canvas, the rookie prepares to deliver his ultimate finishing move. Locking his glowing eyes onto the target, the veteran champion realizes that the perfect opening has finally arrived. Sensing the sudden shift in the air, the young challenger gets shocked when his opponent easily reads his rhythm. 3 major weak spots instantly reveal themselves on the rookie body as the experienced fighter prepares to strike back.